What's going on, everyone? What's going on? My computer wasn't going to work there for a moment. Not sure what was going on with that, but you know how that goes. What's going on there, Renee Cruz? Good to see you there. What's up? Oh, what's going on, everyone? Gotta love it. Got to love it. Oh, let's see here. Sorry about being a little late, folks. Hope everybody's having a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it just took me some time. For some reason, I tried to initiate the part of the software to, broadcast, but you have to, it's for the camera as well. And for some reason, it's basically giving me the middle finger and didn't want to come on. I'm like, okay, sometime today would be fantastic. But we did get it to work. So we are here, and as long as it continues to work, we're good. We are fantastic. Hope everybody is well as well. There we go. Oh, yeah. See all the usual suspects are jumping in on there? That's awesome. Said Renee was the first one to jump in there. She said, what's up? Mimi Reacts is in there. Eric Bauer. What's going on, Mike Knapp? Good to see you in there. Mimi Reacts. Massinista Calfane. I believe I'm pronouncing it right or wrong. Just let me know. Josh D, what's going on? Robert Morgan's in there. What's going on? He said, I'm not late. I was waiting for you. You're absolutely right, man. I was late. Like I said, for some reason, it just didn't. No other time do you have an issue until you need to get online. Meaning, go live. All of a sudden, it just went, I'm not working. So basically, you're going to have no camera. I mean, I could have took a shortcut and just not use it's basically like the green screen effect where you don't see anything in the background. Not that it's a big deal. It's not like it's like, shh, it's a secret. You don't know where I am. I mean, come on. So, yeah. But yes, you were waiting for me, Robert. Appreciate you being here. Great for All says, hello. Douglas D, I got told last night that I look like George Washington. Imagine that. Okay. Mars, the second Genesis. What's happening? He said, hi, Chris. I hope you are well. I'm doing well. I hope you are, too. I hope you are. Renee Cruz, no, I actually had the steak bomb kind of thing this time. I didn't have the BMT, but I was like, well, I'll save half the, because we get like the foot-long type thing. I never eat the whole thing right away. Might make me tired. I'll be like, it's like, what's he doing? He's on the live feed. Oops, sorry. So, the only thing that'll stop us if this thing goes crazy. I mean, I don't know why it would, but for some reason, like I said, it would not even, the camera, it just said, select the camera, and there's nothing in the box. I'm like, this is on all the time. I mean, what's the problem? So, yeah. What's going on, Cameron? Good to see you there. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing good. Phil C. He says, howdy, folks. And this thing jumped on me again. Let's see. Let's go back. Gotta love it. Yeah, Josh D, you're right about that. You say, hello. Friggin' gremlin in the hardware. Yeah, it's just like you put it on, you click it, and go, okay. It's taking longer than it should. You're going, okay, let me go ahead and just shut it down and then, get the app running again. And 3 times is a charm, I guess. Finally, I said, yeah, I think it'll work. What's going on there, Mr. Pete Ferrero? Good to see you there. Templar. Royston of Vassy, what's going on? Hello, Chris. Hello, everyone, he says. I'm not even sure it's a he or she, so my apologies, but they say. Rico Dion, what's going on? This channel is like a crackerjack box. You never know what you're going to, you never know what you're going to get. Absolutely. Equalizer, what's happening? Good to see you there. Say good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well, Equalizer. Let's see. I'm going to put this up there. Somebody's asked me before. I'm going to put it up there. Oops. Hate it when that happens. Let's see. Oh, won't let me do that. Oh, yeah, well. Every now and then I get people asking me, hey, how can I do that? I can't never get this this silly, you know, to you know, I want to support the channel. For some reason, I try to go through this way. I can't send you anything. And I said, listen, I got the PayPal up there as well. You can click on the box up there. Oh, okay, I'll know better next time. So it's awesome that you guys have. And in fact, I want to thank you all who have supported the channel. I don't check it often. I literally went on there, I think it was like 3 days ago or whatever it was. I was like, oh, okay, cool. The only thing that's bad about that is you can't actually, I'll have to stop writing them down because, you know, there's people that support the channel, but some people go, I don't want to be mentioned. So this is the reason why it's easy for them to just go through the PayPal link at the top of this chat. So they just feel it's easier. So okay, I'll put it on there. Let me see. I gotta, since I was talking, you guys go like, shh, you're flying through there. Oh, I forgot this is on too. I shut that off. External hard drive. I just completely shut it down. Mimi, you caught me. Oh man, what am I gonna do now? So Chris, we all know you're live streaming from Mars. That's why I get a lag in this sometimes. It's really hard to, you know. That would be pretty unique though, wouldn't it? That would be pretty cool. They're on to me. Elaine, what's going on? Good to see you. And you said hi, Chris, and everyone. Hope you're all doing well or doing okay. I'm doing well, Elaine. Hope you're doing, or Elaine. I was going to say Millard and at the same time, you get that. But I hope you're doing well. What was that? Limey Watchers in there. What's going on there, Limey? Good to see you in there. Raymond O'Brien says, hi all. What's going on, Raymond? Good to see you in there. A lot of new people are jumping in there, which is cool. And I appreciate you being here and checking the channel out. Nick Mad, what's going on? Good to see you in there, man. He said, love the channel. I'm glad you're here. Appreciate you. TNT 87, 1998. Sup, fellas? What's going on? Good to have you in there. I said there's a lot of new folks in there. I'm glad you guys are here. Appreciate you. And if you like the kind of stuff we do on this channel, then, you know, we got a great bunch of people here in the chat. You know, we can have differences of opinion. We don't get all bent out of shape about it. We just, okay, that's your opinion, that's mine, you know. So, great bunch of people here. A lot of people will come here and say, listen, I got nobody else to talk to about this. Everybody thinks I'm nuts. It's not that you're nuts. It's just because people don't choose to research and look into this. So that's on them, right? So most people are like, I'm just glad I can come here and talk with like-minded people. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. Renee V says, hi. Me, of course, Mars Anomalies, and Chat Gang. Miss Heard, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, he was, Mimi, you said to Chris, I bought this book by Christopher Dunn about advanced technology in Egypt, ancient Egypt, I'm sorry. Well, he's also the one that was on, he was on Ancient Aliens, of course, more than once. And when they were talking about Puma Punku and all of these well-shot and cornered places. He's supposed to be like an engineer type thing, but so really cool. That in fact, I just seen it was a rerun, of course, but I think it was from the first. I'm trying to remember if it was the. Yeah, it was one of the very first ones that were done, and it was over Puma Punku, where they had these inset designs, like repeated design inset, and he said it'd be hard for us to do that today because we were talking about granite and stuff like that, which can be done. Obviously, we get the machines to do it. But back then, you know, and these things, he said, some of them are so sharp, they can literally cut your hand on it. It's that sharp. But obviously, you have, these things have been tossed about, weathered, whatever it may be, and yet they're still sharp in a lot of these corners. Yeah. He said, it is such an interesting book. I have to check that out. Claire Mead, what's going on? Good to have you in there. He said, hi, everyone. Christine Ingram's in there. Hello, Christine. Good to have you in there. Catmandu. Hey, Chris. Been busy. Nice to see this live again. Well, I appreciate you being here, man. You know, some things you you got to do, man. Whether it's work, family, first things first. Turklerin, what's happening? Good to have you in there. Alfie Joe Bob's in there. Said, pounding that like button, you all. Wham! I say, hit it good. Uncle Punky 555, good evening, Chris, he said. What's going on, Uncle Punky? I like that. That's actually a pretty cool name. Pretty cool. Whoops. Ricardo Petrozzi, what's going on, man? He said, hi, Chris, I was repeatedly checking and you were not streaming. Changed computers and now you're live. Well, no, it wasn't. It's nothing to do with you. For some reason, like I said, I can go on my regular software, but I got to turn another software to get this effect in the background. It's like the green screen effect. So it's basically the NVIDIA software. And for some reason, I turned it on and it was taking its time to come on. Finally, it came on. Then it said select the camera. I'm going, this is on all the time. What are you talking about? So, and I don't mean the camera. I mean it activates every time you either Skype, Facebook, whatever. And it comes on. It says nothing in the box. I'm like, what is going on here? So shut it off, did it the second time. Took its time, shut it down again. Not the computer, but just the software. Third time was a charm. So it wasn't you, it was just 3 times it took. I don't know why. It might have been something the computer was doing earlier, and maybe it was just going, yeah, I'm not coming on. You can tell your friends online if you're not getting on tonight. So yeah, here we are. It wasn't your computer. Must be sitting there going, what's going on with this computer? I better go to the other one. Sounds like me. I got like 2 computers, 3 screens, and crazy. So good evening to you. What's going on, Ian? Good to see you in there. Mars the Second Genesis was talking to you, said, I've managed to get 4 videos out of this. Yeah, you have been busy. I only got 3 out. But it is what it is. I'm trying to roll these out. And by the way, I've got one on Venus, which is coming out. And, no, I'm sorry, not that one yet. Pluto. I've done it before, but I found some more interesting objects in there. And if you think like what we'd have here on Earth, you'll never see it in a million years. Never see it. And not to mention they whiten everything, and they do all kinds of crazy things to try to mesh it in and cover it up. And yeah, so, yes, Pluto. Insane. Mimi Reaction said, I like the way that he looks, at the structures with the eye of an engineer. Yes, absolutely. Because, and that's what I see a lot of these Mars photos and the moon and stuff like that. I've worked, I was a tool setter for 13 years, with basically setting up machines. And that's all I see. I guess I'm wired for that now. And you can pretty much see that. But being an engineer, there's so many different other facets. But still, it's like your mind is wired for that kind of thing. So it's like an electrician. They can see like a problem instantly, or just by telling them, like a mechanic, whatever. But yeah, so it's, yeah. First time I seen him on there, I was like, he's an engineer. I said, that's cool, that works. So, cool. What's going on there? Long Island, New York, 1395. What's up, Joe? You've been saying, and it's been a while. It's been a while. I'm glad you guys are on there. J.R. Hodges in there. On the way to Laughlin. Sweet. Alan Keene, he said, hello, chat. I hope you are all having a good day. I am, Alan. I'm glad you said that, and I hope you are too. Was pretty busy, but not too bad today. Andrew Munchkin, what's going on? He said, hey, Chris and friends. What's going on, Andrew? Good to see you in there, man. Alan Keene, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if you're talking to somebody else. Or he said, I don't know how to send to him so he actually sees them. Talking about pictures or something you want to send? Or Steve Garnham, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Yeah, J.R. Hard just said, just got off work, been a while, been real busy. Nothing wrong with that, man. As long as everything's cool with the family, you're healthy, that's all you can ask for, right? That's all what it's about. Gold Heart, he said, Apollo 11, shot from space, awesome details. Yeah, sometimes you just don't know what you're going to find. In fact, we're going to go over, I got a few of the pictures that I enhanced over a course of time, and I'm going to share them with you guys tonight, which is kind of cool. Some were just recent, and some, so we got Mars, we got some Moon, got some side-by-sides, what I looked at, so from the original to that one, pretty cool. Pat Owen, what's happening? He said, Nancy Pelosi has been to Antarctica, but I haven't. Hopefully she'll fall off. I mean, she'll come back after that. Hopefully kill a whale or something to eat her. Did I just say that out loud? I think I might have. Kyle Harvey, what's happening? Good to see you there, brother. Miss here. Yep, poor old little planet Pluto kicked into the curb. Well, yeah, like I said, 2 years from now it'll be a planet again. Next thing you know, it'll be just a body, and then it'll be a planet again, and then they can't make up their mind. Well, if it's only such a diameter, then it's only a rock. Whatever. Listen, the way I look at it is, if something lived on it at one point, to me it's a planet. It can be very small. It doesn't have to be anything big. Look at the stuff that's on our moon. Yeah, that usually doesn't work too well, Douglas D. You said, I tried building an immunity to electricity. I started by sticking forks in electric outlets. Yeah, I'll give you quite a bite. It's not really good. It's not really good, is it? Rock Hits, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Long Island, New York, he said, I'm wondering what's up with Lou Elizondo. He's been alluding lately that there have been a UFO group that's gone rogue, and for the truth to come out, we must offer immunity or of prosecution interest. Yeah, I heard something about that too. I didn't really get into it. Didn't read anything about it, but I'd be curious to see what's going on with that. But you notice how it's always something different. It's like, whoosh, throw in and try to bait people. I'm hoping it's true, truthfully. I hope it really is. Mags K, what's happening? He said, hi, Chris. Happy Hangout. Oh, yeah. When everybody's in here, it's always a good time. Gold Heart, you said, Pluto, Saturn, Mercury, the Moon, flying objects everywhere. Yeah, I think if we could all just look out into space, even if it's between, different planets, I think we'd see some crazy things going back and forth. Now, of course, putting aside, like, rocks hurling through space, whether it be asteroid, comet, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Anything like that hurling through space, you kind of expect. But when you see something like this and it just kind of makes a turn or does something crazy or just, whoop, back around, does a U-turn or something of that sort, then, yeah. Then you have to question that. Big time. What's going on, Kyle? Again, thank you very much, sir, for your support. You said, yeah, people, don't forget that there's merchandise in the store and you can get a nice shirt here at Mars Anomalies and beyond. I need to check that again. I'm glad you reminded me because I was looking at it the other day, and for some reason all I could find was like the cup on there. Are you seeing something different, or is it just me? Because I went on there, I'm going, why am I only seeing just that? It's like they just, somehow all the other merchandise disappeared. So I got to check that out again because we had the t-shirts, we had it all, right? So everything from the little stickers to hats and shirts and stuff, and then all of a sudden, what happened? I'm definitely going to check into that. What's going on there, David Pierce? Good to see you there. Tony Tannen. I guess that's how you pronounce it. How are you doing? I'm doing fine, Tony. I hope you're doing well. Ian, he said, a weird bullet-like UFO on the horizon, plus about 2/3 of the way down the right side of the photo, rectangular structure with pipe-type thing sticking out. Okay, I got you. David, reporting from Boring, Oregon. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Josh. He said, I only see the cup. I want the shirt. Yeah, I'm going to have to get back in and find out what the deal is. No, we can't do that, Eddie. Eddie, we can't do that. What's going on, Eddie? Eddie Foltz, good to see you in there, man. He said, can you say hi, Eddie Foltz? I want to see my wife's face when you say it. Hold on, let me go ahead and make this screen bigger. It's over there, so it's not like right in front of me here, so it's a little further away. That's a little better. Now I'm going to read it. Random comment. I like that. That's pretty cool. He said, I saw a shooting star make a U-turn in 1982. Yeah, that's probably not a shooting star. He must have went, okay, that's not natural. That's not supposed to happen. I didn't think of that. Maybe right. He said, Chris, add some pareidolia swamp gas merchandise to the collection. Yeah, and then we'll put this saying, that is not a rock. What do you think? Kyle, yeah, I mean, I was just thinking of that because you said, good, Chris, I'm glad that I mentioned it. Yeah, for some reason it was all on there, and then, I don't know. Not sure what the deal is. Probably should make it from new ones anyway. What do you think? Come up with some cool stuff, too. We had some pretty good shirts and stuff before, and in fact, I've got one there. I got a hoodie that I wear, and a shirt. It's got the Mars Anomalies and Beyond on there. Pretty cool. Pete Ferrero, he said that NASA's been quiet on CMEs, increased volcanic activity and earthquakes and large Mars quakes. Yeah, they've been saying that, like, it's been pretty active, right? Of course, the volcanoes here have been crazy here. Yeah, it's almost like something's like on the horizon, if you know what I mean. We'll have to see what's going on with that. Goldheart, he said, Chris, have you ever seen a UFO? Yes, I did in the 80s. I've said this, told a story before where a friend of mine were hanging out at his front porch at his house. We're just chilling, listening to some music, and there's this giant clock tower. You can see it from a distance because it's up on this hill, on this mountain, and it's on the top of it. And one day I just happened to, I was talking to him, I looked up and I went, what the hell is that? It was like red and blue lights and they're kind of alternating back and forth. And he said, yeah, what is that? I said, clearly it's not a vehicle because it's literally lifting off of this tower. And what I found interesting was that the way it come off there like this, kind of hovered, which is literally over the park. There's a park right there, which swings, all that other stuff for kids. And then it just kind of just took right off. Well, the next day we went back there and I was like, there's only one place for this thing to land. You got the tower. If you're looking down on a satellite, you got the tower itself, and then there's like a bunch of grass over here. Well, there was like 3 impressions, like almost like a triangular shape, you know, and the grass was probably about 1 foot tall, so you could see this pretty well. I said, no way. Somebody must be messing with us. There's no way. And of course, this was in the like 1985. So I thought that was pretty weird. That was pretty cool. I know other people have seen it too. Douglas D. Seeing a shooting star do a U-turn is one thing, but seeing one stop and then use its turn signal, I guess you have to put turn, you went to go put turn, but you put whatever. Signal beforehand is a whole different animal. Yeah, that's crazy. What's going on there, James Cragen? I don't know if I said, I think I said hi to you already. Ah, yeah, I like that. Make a t-shirt that says NASA, no airbrushes here. Or we would never censor a photo. In fact, it reminds me, there was, oh God, what was this on? Twitter. I looked on there and it said, I guess it's supposed to be Curiosity, where it says, oh yeah, this is a really raw and untouched photo of this. And of course, then there was one with Perseverance. And I'm going, I still want to get on there. Are you kidding me? And I'm just showing one of my photos. Please stop lying to the public. Come on. I'm going to have to do that to stop badgering these people. I'm like, what? Oh yeah, this is raw and you know, uncensored. Meaning, because sometimes to make it more, you know, aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. So that's what they say. That's the reason why the CGI department's there. There's nothing wrong with that. But stop hiding things that are in the photo. That's what's wrong with it. Yeah, I have. Long Island, New York. You said, Chris, did you hear about NASA Administrator Bill Nelson talking about UFOs lately? Yeah, now, you notice how there's a big flip in the way everybody's thinking, where they're saying, oh yeah, now suddenly we believe in the UFOs, or there's life in other places. Yeah. I mean, now they're wanting to hunt for it more and more. You notice that? It's like an accelerated effort to, like, either put more radio telescopes up, you know, we got the James Webb going up, the telescope, we got, you know, we're focused on so many different things, and I've got the other page too. It talked about like radio signals as well, and I think that was in January, so we might have actually touched on that before. But you notice how there's like this real big effort to find out, is there other people out there? And they know it. It's kind of like, you know, the first time you have something good to eat and you really love the way it tastes, you want to keep having it more and more. Or you learn how to ride a bike and now you're like, oh yeah, I can't get off of it. It's the same thing. Once they found one thing, and we already know they did, Moon, Mars, and whatever else they looked at and found life on, and well, like I said, got Pluto coming up, different other things coming up, and it's like, you know for a fact that these people seen something, and this is the reason why they're just like full speed ahead. Let's just get it done. And that's what they're doing. So I'm hoping at some point somebody screws up and makes a big time mistake. We just hope. We can only hope. Ricardo Petrozzi, thank you very much, sir, for your support. As always, he said, "Dear NASA, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. Now show us the real photos." Absolutely, man. It's so frustrating because it's like, I don't know how many times I see a comment and people go, listen, we could take better photos in the 80s. Even in the 60s, you could take better pictures, like with the SR-71 and other spacecraft and other planes, where they can, if you're sitting there with your phone on your chair, your lounge chair, they can see what you're looking at. With that, suddenly, oh, we just can't get a good picture over from Mars. Come on. You know as well as I do, like I said before, if you're going to build something that's got to have eyes, and you want to see what's on a planet, a moon, whatever it may be, you're going to put the creme de la creme of cameras on there. Not some piece of trash that you'd be lucky to get 240, you know, any kind of decent detail or large size photo, right? You're going to put some piece of trash on there. Come on. Trouble. I like that. Trouble. Love this channel. I appreciate it. Rocket, she said, saw a blue light drop out of the sky, then vanish in a blink. To this day, can't explain it. Oh, I know. It's just like you going, okay, I know what that is because it's traveling very slowly. All of a sudden, it just takes off. You go, where did it just go? You know, that's nothing we have that can do that. At least not back then. I saw another one of those videos today. It was in, I don't know if it was Venezuela or where it was, but they were talking about how there's a Tic-Tac UFO, and I'm like, oh, well, that must be pretty interesting. And it kind of looks like CGI. It's at night. And I'm going, okay. We keep hearing them talking about, oh, how these things are in the airspace and, you know, they're a threat and all this other stuff. And yet, they haven't done anything. They haven't done a thing. Even all these UFOs through the course of time, when ancient people talked about them, never done a thing to anybody. Now, people could say, well, you know, there's abductions and some of them were bad. Can they prove that? Everybody that, you know, actually got abducted weren't really, you know, affected badly by them, other than being scared, because obviously you don't want to be captured by something not of this world. So, you know, I'm going, okay, but you can say there's 1,000 UFOs all over the planet, but they haven't done any harm. So why this red alert attitude? Yeah, doesn't make any sense. Oh my God. Mimi Reaction said UFO Jesus gave an update. Luis Elizondo. It seems he is hiding at home for some reasons, but he can't talk about it because it would endanger his family. Shh. Now it's getting really scary. Shh. Come on. Everybody does that. It's like, I'm in hiding. The van, they're after me, you know. Or they're hacking me. Whatever. 786 Auto, what's going on? He said, hello, everyone. What's happening, Mr. 786 Auto? Josh D said, I could take better pics. Late 60 with my East German. Yeah, there you go. The clone 6x6 camera I got from my dad. You know, that's what I'm saying. I can take a regular Polaroid, the Instamatic camera, remember, and take better pictures. It's crazy, man. And you know as well as everybody here is not stupid. It's like, you see a real poor photo from either the moon or Mars, and you go, really? Seriously? I could run up there with a piece of trash phone and take a better photo than that. Hell, even this is a real old phone, an iPhone 7, you know, and that would take a better photo. Trust me. This thing keeps jumping on me here. Kyle Harvey said the UFOs are here to help, not hurt. I totally agree with you. Totally agree. I keep saying it. If there's such a threat in our airspace, why didn't they go, you know, just, you know, bomb somebody or... Because the way I look at it is this. It seems like we're being taunted by another country, or it's just us, meaning the United States. Because what I find interesting is that if you're going to, let's say you were a threat. You're just going to come right in. You're going to cause hate and discontent, blow stuff up, neutralize things. You're going to make it a complete havoc out of it, that particular area, right? So it hasn't happened. Now, they do say, which I agree with is legitimately, is that if they're in our airspace, you know, you can have a plane collide with it, you know, regular airliners, whatever. You can have somebody collide with it. Makes perfect sense. Other than that, they say they're in our airspace. They could be dangerous, or they are a danger to us. Not really. They haven't done a thing. Why the big hype? Now, don't get me wrong. If it turned out to be like an Independence Day, and one of these UFOs decided to shoot up a military base or, you know, waste a whole city or something like that, yeah, I think we're in for it. But didn't they say that a while back? They're going to make up this, like this hoax, kind of like false, you know, invasion kind of thing. I think we're in it right now, folks. What's going on there, Mr. John Beck? Good to see you in there. Corey's in there. What's going on, Corey? He said, yeah, we got video stabilization, all sorts on our planes even. Yeah, really, really good photos I could take, right? Jossie said Elizondo has cancer in his home. I'm not sure. I guess you got to say stint there is related to that. I know, and I seen him talk a few times past week. Oh, well, I mean, if it's something like that, that makes sense, right? But if he's like, ooh, I'm hiding, they're after me kind of thing, it's hard to swallow. Kyle Harvey said the United States government hides the fact that we are being visited by extraterrestrials because they are here to help and not hurt. Yeah, they want everybody to be on the defense as opposed to, oh, let's welcome them. Think about it. Imagine if people could literally, like Dr. Stephen Greer talk about how he's got the CE5, whatever it is, or whatever that is, where you can actually like basically telepathically talk to them and you can signal them and everything else. Can you imagine everybody on the planet be able to do that? Then it'd be like, oh man, there's got to be no war now. We can't have that. War is big business. And, you know, what happens if they like our people but they hate the government? Like, not that anybody here doesn't hate the government. Yeah. Toma Avril, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, they are studying us and they do not want us to interfere because we are primitive. We are too primitive. I think they probably recognize that we do have some technology, but it depends on where they're from and how advanced they are. They just don't want us being, blowing the planet up probably, or getting too big for our britches and maybe going out and saying, listen, we'll bring weapons out into space to other planets. So if you find life there and you're confronted, you stop blowing up other planets. They probably don't want that. Yeah, they'll probably frown on that. Not to mention come back and like kill everybody on the planet. But like I said, we keep hearing about this. Oh, it's in our airspace and this, it's a threat. It hasn't been a threat yet. It hasn't. Other than possibility of collision, I get that. That makes sense. The only reason why I'd be, the only reason why I'd probably be like on alert is, like I said, if it's somebody, it's from this own planet, from our own planet, saying, haha, just want to taunt you a little bit and let you know we have more technology than you do. That's the only thing I can see. Because whatever these ships are, they haven't done a thing yet to us. So, haven't abducted anybody, haven't, bombed anything. What's the worst that's happened lately? Oh, even back in the day, neutralized the base, the missiles and the silos. Ooh, that's really not bad. Excuse me, that's actually a good thing. They're saying we don't want you to war with each other. Let's be good little boys and girls, and maybe someday you'll be welcomed into the, what do you call it? The galactic, galaxy and the galactic neighborhood. But until then, no. Bunch of barbarians. Long Island, you said, I wonder what the UFOs are even doing here in the first place. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a legit question, right? It's like, are they just trying to see how we're advancing and, how we're evolving and everything else? That would be my guess. Are we a threat outside of Earth? Are we going the way they would like to see us go? Kind of like maybe the way, the way their civilization is going, and maybe they talk to our leaders and say, you need to abolish this, but emphasize more on this to proceeding and make progress on this planet, so on and so forth. I don't know, but it makes you wonder. It's like, why are they truly here? But I think that's probably some of the reasons, right? Yeah, Kyle, I agree. You said they have never been in contact with an airplane to date, so to me they are not a threat. Now, I remember hearing stories how these things would literally they'd cross in front of their path and stuff like that, but they're so darn fast, I don't think they're going to allow the plane to collide into them, and I don't think they're that stupid enough to fly into a plane, right? But then again, unless they're having something's faulty with their craft, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, pretty much, Kyle. You said, yeah, they don't want us to blow up the planet. That's why they're shutting down the nuclear warheads. Absolutely. Douglas, you think the aliens are demons, right? Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on how you look at them. If they are here to basically kill off the human race, absolutely. I haven't seen them do anything wrong, though, yet. So, are we supposed to believe that they would? That they are going to kill us all off? I would believe it'd be more like an Independence Day kind of thing, like, let's surround the planet, right? And we'll just take these other ships down and we'll just like decimate the planet. One giant part of the capital of these important parts of these, land masses. Of course, they'd probably look at it that way. And we'll just decimate it. Just go ahead and take the planet. Or because we think they're going to be a future threat, let's just waste it now and be done with it. And yet they haven't done anything. And they've been here through even ancient times. They see how we're progressing, and yet they've still done nothing. So, again, why the red alert? Why the fear-mongering? I don't get it. Mars' second Genesis, he said the Hasselblad cameras used on the moon were the best, which they were. They were cutting edge back then, and they still make great cameras. Have you ever seen a proper Hasselblad image from then? Yes, absolutely. The clarity and the dynamic range is amazing. Imagine what they have now. Imagine what they have now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I've got another photo that I'm going to show you guys, and I've said this in the past, and I showed you guys. Not everybody here on board was probably watching that video at the time. But yeah, we had the technology we have now. We've had it then, back in the 60s. Even on the Apollo missions, like you're saying about the cameras. So, what I don't like is that even, when they're in the capsule, they're ascending from the moon, you see all these whited out photos. Why? And then you can see other photos that completely, without white, anything overlaid, complete, great, brilliant kind of detail. And yet most of those are completely white out or trashed. I've got one that's so bad, in fact, I'm going to show you that one too, that it's so whited out, but yet in this, I don't know if it's like a ditch, like this huge ditch, it doesn't appear to be a crater, but on the wall of it, it's got some crazy looking things in there, and you go, that shouldn't be there. So, yeah. Pat Owen, you said we are puppy dogs to aliens. You might be right. Or, like I said, like a giant ant farm. I'm going to jump way down here. Ufology Shorts, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris. What's going on? I hope you're doing well. If I missed anybody's comment or question, just go ahead and add it again if you don't mind. This thing, every time I scroll down and start to get down to the bottom, the whole thing jumps. So I don't know how many I miss. And I hate to keep everybody else hanging who's already, just put a comment on. So, Turkleman, you said UFOs were always here. We are not a threat to for them. Let's say you go on vacation. Where are you going to go? Most water location. UFOs want to also eat and drink on vacation. There you go. I'm not sure it's quite like that, but I mean, on the other side of the token, you're absolutely right, because how many of these UFOs have come out of oceans? So, for all we know, folks, these UFOs could be ours, and I believe a lot of them are, and that our military base is in the ocean. We already have these other bases off the East Coast and the West Coast, and the military bases, a lot of them are like for, got to do with like medical and stuff like that, high-tech bases. I was told from a girl that she's in the military, and she didn't tell me, she said her father was working in and took her along when she got into the service too, so he had the clearance to be able to do that. And she won't get into details about it. She just said, oh yeah, there are. She said, people need to stop waking up. I would have liked it. I was telling another guy that works with me, I said, man, I'd like to get her on my show, and because I've told him about the show. And she didn't say a whole lot. I said, yeah, because I do YouTube videos, and she kind of like, I was like, oh hell. And she's probably thinking, because if I do get her on, I'm going to like be drilling her big time, like, tell me this, tell me that, what's this, what's that. And who knows, she probably would have shared the information. Like, look, how about a couple greenbacks? That'll help. Robert Morgan, you said, and the arms industry. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What's going on, Noodles? I didn't even see you get in there. I don't know how long you've been in there. Alien Views, what's going on? I hope you're doing well. Haven't seen you in a while. Been going back to your channel periodically. I'm going, where's he been at? I haven't seen any videos. Hope you're doing well, man. Yeah, I know that. I thought about that. Yeah, maybe I should be a speed reader. Or am I pretty good at it now? Problem is I do have to slow down because sometimes I'll stumble on your words. It's kind of like when you're typing fast, you're like, and you go, my kids do this. They're so fast at typing, but yet, backspace, backspace. I said, slow down. Slow down. And guess what? Slow down, make less mistakes. Harvey, thank you again, sir, for your support. You said extraterrestrials are interested in our genetics because they are emotionless. We have feelings, we cry, we laugh, we love. Yeah, I mean, of course, we don't know how they are either. You know what I mean? We assume that, like when you see the grades, they're like kind of morbid, kind of like these beings, right? So I'm wondering if they are like that or not. I mean, if they're beings like us, you would think if they're gonna have their population grow, obviously, got a mate and everything else. You would think that they'd have something to it. I mean, what's the point of, it's like us. What's the point of, having a family? You just because you love each other, and that's what ends up happening. You have a family. So how do they go about it? Let's just expand the alien race, and we'll just make them from a computer. You know what I mean? It sounds kind of weird. I mean, how else would you make a population? Other than like having, like we have here, sex and stuff like that. But, so you say, wouldn't they have to do the same thing? Or are they like more of a hybrid being kind of thing where, what can we talk about? Not the Terminator. Yeah, the Terminator, kind of like, got the skin on the outside, it's like an exoskeleton, and of course you got the machine inside. Is it something like that? Then they wouldn't have much of a population because how would they grow? Unless they got some big machine pumping these things out, putting them together, and I don't know. I just don't see a civilization living like that. They would have to be similar to us in some ways, right? Oh, cool. All right. Alien View says, I will be posting soon. Thank you. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm sure you've been busy because I'm saying, well, ooh, that's not good. I just went back up because it jumped on me again, and you said, got your shingles shot. Is that what you got? Man, my brother had them years ago, and he said, man, they are painful as heck. James, I don't know why this was hell, but you said, you were talking to Ricardo, you said it's pure BS, excuse my language. But yeah, it's filtered out. Anything that like swears and stuff, he usually filters it out. Chris A says, hello. What's going on, Chris A? Ian, you said, where's the real Jimmy Roberts these days? Doesn't seem as active the past few months. No, I mean, I see him on, I've got him on my Facebook and stuff like that, and he's just doing life, man. I don't know if just something important comes up. I know he's got the site he's got. He's got that, and so I don't know how active he is on there. Truthfully, I don't go on there, and it's not that I don't want to. I just don't. There's a few things I do go on, of course, NASA sites and ESA and all of these other sites, and check news for science and things like that. So I really don't like go to all these other sites, but yeah, I haven't seen any either. It's been about what, 2 or 3 months? So yeah. James Windle says, hey Chris, love your video presentations. I appreciate it, James. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Wild Mountain Bear says, let's see, check out some of the unusual anomalies that is going on with some of our moons in our solar system. Yeah, I mean, I think, and I'll stake my life on it, that every one of these planets in our solar system had life on it. And the reason why I come to that conclusion is, like we talked about before, Earth actually has 2 moons. I'm sorry, yeah, well, we've got 2 moons, and we were I was going to say bipolar. No, we're not. We're not, but maybe the solar system is. No. But we had like 2 suns at one time. So if that's true, and we're talking probably millions of years ago, of course, but we got the sun we have now, and we had one on the other end of the solar system, and they say it's got a huge orbit, and now, of course, it's burned out. If there was, in fact, another sun, then, yeah, then it was heating up the other end of the solar system, so there might have been life on those outer planets. And like I said, they were talking about, some scientists were saying there's more planets. Let's say Pluto was still a planet. There would have been 9 planets. There was more than that. There was like 13 or 14 of them, maybe even more, because they found out they're actually orbiting around our sun. So there's actually more planets besides the ones we have. So, and if there was a sun actually burning back in the day, you could bet it was heating up, excuse me, it was heating up that end of the solar system, therefore life everywhere. So, yeah. The shingles got into my nerve in my face. Wow. Yeah, that could be bad. I'm sure that was pretty painful too. I'm glad you're better. Hope you're doing well. Lord Magnetron. I'm not sure who Mike is, but he said, have you looked into the Alaskan Pyramid? There's actually a bunch of those. In fact, I told you guys we're going to be doing some more Antarctica, and we're going to be doing that. I've been trying to get these other ones out too. So, like I said, I've got the one Pluto, and I think I've got, it's on the burner there, the back burner, but that's going to be coming up soon as well, Antarctica. And of course, we've got the channel for that already too. You guys know that. So, yeah. Got a bunch of them coming down the pike, folks. Just make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell. And I know some of you have been telling me, dude, I am. And then I go back on there, and for some reason, it's I'm unsubscribed again. Just keep checking and make sure it's, you are still subscribed. Josh D said there's so much more, There is so much content these days that you need to be online 24/7. Yeah, not sleep and forget about own research. I had to have. I'm not sure what you're putting there. Projectunity in the middle to be here, but I do take much time for research. Oh yeah, absolutely. You got to. You got to. And Carter says, talking to James, says, thanks, James. Noodle says, post-disclosure world had a few good uploads this week, all about Lou Elizondo. Yeah, well, what does he think of him, though, Noodles? Is he on board with him? I'm on board with him for just so far. You know what I mean? It seems like since the Pentagon has released these videos, right? It seems like everybody and their mother now is like jumping on these videos, like jumping on board with it, just to get the attention. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is like, stop with the fear-mongering. You know what I mean? I just think it's crazy. I think they'll sort it out. They'll eventually find out who's doing it. And I believe what we're seeing as far as Tic-Tac and stuff like that, that's here. That's Earth-based. Now, you know, like I said, remember we were doing, I was showing you guys videos from, of course it was from, let's see, every time we've seen, like we go back to like 50s, we've seen the UFO pictures, and every like decade, you see like a couple of photos, they seem like they got a little bit more technically better. They looked better, more rounded, so on and so forth. And as you kept going through decades of UFOs, they look like a Tic-Tac now. So it's almost like it's us, like we were improving the vehicle, the first modern car back then, back in the 1800s. All of a sudden, you see where we are now, we got self-driving vehicles. So heck, they even got UPS trucks now driving like that, and Domino's trucks and all kinds of stuff. So you go back then, you know, yeah, we had electric cars even back in the 1890s. We've had steam engines there and all this other stuff. But look at the difference. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like I said, I go so far with these guys, but then I think they just like to embellish a lot just to keep it, oh yeah. It's all about being on shows and getting this. Which I don't, again, if you're passing around the right information, I have no problem with it. I think you should let the people know. Public should know everything there is to possibly know. If you're just passing it along just to embellish and, you know, make up some stories and say, oh, this, that, and the other, and oh, they're after me kind of thing, I don't believe in that. Come on. Because anybody who's really doing something and found something interesting, and I'm talking about could be something to do with the military, and they were in the military, and they decided to blow the whistle, they could be killed off. So that I get, but, you know, of course he was, you know, Elizondo was was he in the Marines or was he in? I forget now, but not that matters, but you would think that these guys would like basically make them disappear, and yet you don't. Carrie said, hi, Mars and Beyond. I have a good stream, Chris. I have a good weekend, I'm sorry. Stay safe, Chris. See you when you post a video. Oh, you're taking off? All right, man. Glad you were here, Cameron. Have yourself a good one as well. Have a good night and good weekend, all right? Oops, why is this screen moving here? There we go. $10cc said natural beings, thus the real supernatural. No funny-looking midgets. Yeah. Not sure why they held that, but it says, hell for a review. Why? I don't know why it just, YouTube does that. It just holds it for the dumbest reasons there. Yeah, while Mountain Berry, he said Tic-Tacs, probes of some sort. It's almost like they were saying, you remember when they first saw these, they said, we don't think that the human being could be in there and take these kind of, you know, like the inertia and stuff like that, and the constant change in direction and speeds, and they said there's no way. So that's why they think it's some kind of like a probe or some kind of, you know, something along them lines to see what's going on. Or, like I said, they're just there to taunt us. I don't believe that, you know, that they are manned, unless, of course, they did actually, you know, get the thing perfect where, okay, anti-gravitics, where you're not going to be slammed up against a wall and be basically human paint on the wall when they go into a different direction. You know, it's, you know, if it's like a drone, they were saying that thing was more like a drone, I think, more than anything. And that makes more sense to me. And if that's true, guess what? It's made here right on Earth. I mean, you possibly could send an alien probe, but why wouldn't they have done that a long time ago? Of course, we have more people with cameras, and so I guess that might answer the question. But I don't know. It's like it opens your mind up to start. It's like it's got to be thought-provoking because you're like, you don't just go with one thing and say, yeah, that's it. That's it. No, because you just don't truly know. You try to analyze it at every, every different angle. Noodles, you said, imagine hiding the truth to keep the exploitation. I guess that's what you're putting of humans as an economic engine. It's normal. Yeah. Ian, you said, why have the kinds of UFOs that are seen changed over the decades? That's what I don't understand. Well, the technology just gets better. So that's telling me they're made here on Earth. You know what I mean? So if you get some old clunky looking steel riveted piece of trash in the air, well, then they figured out how to get the thing to fly. But then they went, okay, let's see. Now we have to build around this craft because we can actually make it much faster, can maneuver better. We need something more, I don't know if I'd call it aerodynamic. I guess you could say that. But if you've got something that is a field around there, then you don't have that kind of friction and stuff like that. So you pretty much can go through the air with ease. But it seemed like it just got better technology, got better, fancier, better steel, better way to mold it. It's kind of like cars. Again, look at the crude stuff back then, Model A's, stuff like that. Real crude looking things back in the day. And yet, look what we got today. They would look like a spacecraft. If you were driving and go back to the future kind of thing, right? You're driving around this whole Model A, or even a lot sooner than that, a lot earlier. Go back to the 1800s where you're driving around, all of a sudden the Tesla pulls up. I mean, or some wild-looking supercar. Wow. Great for all, he said, who would fall for the whole fake alien invasion? Anyway, it's ludicrous. I totally agree with you, Ian. I mean, great for all. I'm sorry, because I was just reading Ian's too. Above yours, great for all. What I have, like I said, the only reason why you would literally fall for it is if one of these things literally blew up a city, or like basically decimated a military base. Then you go, oh, hold on a minute. Then you might want to think twice. Other than that, there's no reason to believe it. Now, I'm not saying there couldn't be anything couldn't escalate from like an alien that came here from outer space. That could happen. But again, they've been coming here for thousands of years. You'd think they would say, it's not a big deal. Now, that may be the whole thing with Elizondo and all these people here talking about these UFOs to escalate it purposely, meaning not with the aliens, but to have us like in fear, government, please help us kind of thing. I don't know. Raises a lot of questions. $10cc said moments before the last ISS docking, their camera was at the correct exposure and brightness mode. They are hiding a lot from us. Yeah, you ever notice that? It's like, I get the idea that the Earth is bright, obviously a lot brighter because, from the sun, and if you look out into space, it's black, right? So I get that. Why couldn't you just pan out? Or, bring it out, bring up the exposure, turn it away from the Earth a little bit, but they're going, we can't do that. For all we know, it could be like a friggin' highway out in space, for all we know. We don't know. But of course, all of these companies that want to have like, of course, it had to be the elites or at least the creme de la creme with money falling out your rear end. So at some point, Virgin Galactic, all of these other companies, they're going to have people you'll be able to pay a certain amount, fly around the moon, and then come back, and there you go. It's only a cool $1 million or $10 million. It's all right. Anybody loan me that? I need to take a trip around there. But, so they're going to go, well, clearly we're going to see all this stuff out in space at this point. Unless they do a thing like, okay, we're going to keep the windows closed like it's some kind of like shutter over the glass. We'll go around the moon. As we hit the moon, and then we'll open the windows and then go around and then, of course, we'll close them again. I don't know how they'll do that eventually. But that'd be interesting. What's going on there, Fraxenturian? It's good to see you in there, man. High Grade Gaming as well. What's going on? He says, sup, Chris? I'm scared about what's going to come. Do you think us poor fight for the truth, buddy, we're yet so weak? Well, I mean, you said I'm scared about what's to come. I'm not. Truthfully, I'm not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I always say, you know, you always see these people going to like preppers and stuff like that. The only thing I'd be afraid of now is that the shortage of food and stuff that's going on. If you like a certain foods or certain types of foods, stock up on it, because I know they said it's going to get really tight before it starts getting better. And that's not fear-mongering. You know, you see these people doing these prepper things. Look, I got food here that can last 25 years. What the hell are you going to need it for? You know, I mean, I can have X amount of cans of spaghetti. I don't think there's going to be an issue past the point where they're no longer good. They have a little can of SpaghettiOs or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's not what we got. But I mean, the thing is, you want to, as far as now, it's good to buy a little extra in case the stores get shorter and shorter. And it's not fear-mongering, because if you've been to the stores, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's starting to be holes here, holes there, more and more holes everywhere you go, where, yeah, it's getting a little tight as far as food-wise, isn't it? And of course, they're saying about Christmas, how it's going, if you don't shop now, or you didn't shop like a month or two ago, you may not get what you want. So you may want to do this all now. They're saying even tires are going to become more expensive. Which I've already bought mine about 3 months ago. Got all that stuff taken care of, which I was going to do anyway. Had nothing to do with this crap. But it's still good to have it on hand in case things get tight. You know, maybe you got a deep freezer, you got meats in there. You know, we had like we got the hamburger, you know, pork chops, chicken, and steaks. We just keep, you know, maybe about 6 to 8 of those a piece in there. It's not like we eat it every day, but it's nice to have. But you may want to do that, you know, only because things are getting tough. And if you guys have been to stores, you know what I'm talking about. There's holes more and more getting bigger and bigger on these shelves. So just a little heads up, just a little something to think about. Pete's Vlogs, thank you very much for your support, sir. I do appreciate you. He says, hey, you. He's got glasses on, doesn't he? Is that what he got on? That's pretty funny. Appreciate it, Pete. Pete's Vlogs. Oh, let me see. Alien views. A regular motorcycle is scary enough to drive. Mimi, you said, Chris, I believe there's a busy highway out there. Well, I mean, you know, when you talk about the tether incident where that thing got loose, and I think it's like a mile long, if I'm not mistaken. It was a mile-long tether. Thing gets away from the craft. It's down there. All of a sudden, you start to see these little things, you know, going around it. Then there's one large one going underneath it. They think it was like 300 feet long, or wide rather, because it's round. All these little weird things just flying around it. What the hell could that possibly be? They could say, well, it's our satellite. Sure, because they just decided they were in orbit and said, oh, I think we'll just go down there and take a look at this tether and just fly around it. You know, come on. So there's got to be traffic out in space, and I don't mean like there's thousands upon thousands of them, but you can bet if you're looking out enough, if you were out in space, or at least out in orbit, not in so much in the inner orbit, but a little bit more outer, and you're not being so much of this light pollution from Earth, if you just want to look straight out, then you probably see all kinds of weird crap just flying around in our solar system and everywhere else. It's something our governments, our, you know, elites, they're probably totally privy to, you know. Mervyn Gravel, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris. Hope you're well. I was looking at Antarctica today on Google, and loads of areas are hidden. How many, now, they either whited out, or they're completely blurred out, or both, right? How many areas you seen like that? Crazy, right? It's all over this darn thing. Even the mountains, you can see where they've put like squares of blur and other texture. You'll see when I do the next one. It's crazy. Maybe you said there's so much activity around the moon. That's a fact. But I mean, it's because the moon is bright that you can see these things, but you can bet they're all over the place, you know? Jay McGuffey, what's happening? You said, can't wait for maglev boots and anti-gravity sidewalks. That would be pretty sweet. That would be cool. Beach Vlogs, again, thank you very much, sir, for your support. He said, if I missed anyone, hi. Pete says hi. Lionheart Glassworks, what's going on? Says hello. Miss Heard, you said, I would bet anyone $50 that aliens, their UFOs are bound to our solar system, our moon, and Earth, and then some. More than that. You can bet almost, listen, like I said before, you can have a gaseous planet. There's got to be a core to it. There's got to be some kind of core that keeps that gas in that area. And as long as there's a surface, or you can go subsurface, you can bet there's a home to some of these aliens. They don't have to breathe in oxygen in there. They just need to be safe in their own environment, either underground, like let's say the giant dome and there's a city under there just producing their own oxygen. Maybe they got a machine that can transform like a weird gas into like an oxygen or something that's more, more breathable to them, like we have now. We've able to do it on a tiny scale where we had, I think it was the Perseverance actually, exchange carbon for oxygen. They can do that now. Now that they know they can do that, larger scale. So you can live on Mars all day long if that's in fact non-breathable, and I think that it is. I think at the very least you'll probably have to have maybe a breathing apparatus, but other than that, on a warm day in the summer, go walk around with a shirt on. And as long as you're underneath the magnetic fields, well, whatever ones, because they're real kind of hit and miss kind of thing on Mars. You guys know that's not complete like surrounding the Earth does, Strip Bear, what's happening? He said, hiya. Thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. I like that. Hiya. That's cute. Yeah. Wild Mountain Berry said it would be super if we could get a telescope outside the solar system Oort cloud. Exactly. Well, I mean, now they got the James Webb, telescope going out there. This thing's going to be insane compared to the Hubble. It's going to make it look obsolete for what this thing can do. They're saying that they're going to look for the outer edge of basically the universe, right? I don't know how they could do that when it doesn't end. It's blackness, which is really mind-boggling. Just sit back and think about that a minute. If you were Superman or Superwoman, I want you to imagine like you just take off of Earth and you're just like flying like Superman. You're flying, going by all these planets, going by, and you get to the very edge of all of these planets that are out there, and it still keeps going. There is no stopping. That's crazy, because you're so used to, if you were to get up right now from where you're standing, you're either going to walk into a wall, a window, furniture, you're going to walk into something, right? You're used to a limitation. Suddenly now there is none. How do you fathom that? How do you wrap your mind around that? There is no stopping. I mean, do they think that they're just going to go like, oh, well, here's all the planets. Okay, here's the end of black. Run into a brick wall? I mean, what are they hoping? What do they think they're going to find out there? There is no end. That's all there is to it. You might find the edge of all of the planets where they've been traveling. You might get to the very oldest planet, and then that's it. You would just be void. Just blackness of space. Turklerman, you said reverse UFOs is not same as human tech reverse. Why? Because humans copy human behavior, but it is too difficult to translate. Other thoughts, because we don't have same tech or material or thoughts as UFOs. Well, here's the thing. If you can find out what the material is made of, right, you can pretty much simulate the same material, kind of like they did with the Martian soil, where they took volcanic ash from here on Earth, and then they mixed the chemical compounds, or mixed what they knew that the Martian soil was basically comprised of, because of the Viking orbiter, or the lander rather, because they had both. But the lander, when it took a sample of the soil, it then analyzed it, sent the information back. So we know what it's made of compounds. So we added that to volcanic ash, and we found that anything you plant in it grows better than here on Earth. So isn't it kind of the same way? You find out what the materials are made and see if you cannot simulate it, and I'm almost positive you can, unless of course it's unknown to this planet where you just don't have that kind of material or that metal or whatever it may be, right? There you go, alien viewers. You said, watch out for crazy car drivers. Yeah. Ricardo, thank you again, sir. He said, hello to the three thumbs down people. Oh, you got to say hello to them. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Alien View says, most major tech inventions are slow progression in small steps. Well, yeah, because, I mean, it's like you... First, we got to find out what these things are made of. You know, what kind of compounds, chemicals, whatever. And then, of course, you got to try to simulate it. It takes time. And before you know it, you know, you're good, you know. No, I don't. Never heard of them, I don't think. He said, Ricardo, he said, anyone ever heard of the Canadian group called Holy F? As they are known Spotify. Follow them for years, and they are coming to Glasgow next March. No, I don't think I've ever heard of them. Get down all the way down to the bottom here. Benjamin Evans, what's going on? Good to see you in there, man. Said, Chris, what do you think about SpaceX and with Elon putting humans on Mars by 2030? I think it's awesome. It's going to take, you know, they're going to have to, me personally, they're going to have to send their own spacecraft there. And here's what I'm going to say, because I found it interesting. I thought about that too. I said, I wonder how they're going to do that. And I think the way they're going to do that is going to just send a spacecraft by itself, nobody in it, and they're going to see how the integrity of this thing holds up. So in other words, maybe they could put, like, you know, like they have like crash test dummies in the cars. Put something similar to that. And then, of course, they can see the pressure on it. They can see the, if they put oxygen, how long it will last. And maybe they're putting something in there that can find out as far as, you know, I don't know how they'd be able to do that, though. Because if you were there yourself, you'd have muscular issues, right? So you'd have to exercise out in space and everything else to get there. Unconventional means, I think they can get there a whole lot faster. But conventional means, if it's like 7 months, then you need to be able to exercise. You don't get weakening in the muscles and stuff like that. Be able to eat well, so on and so forth, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Where did this thing just go? I just seen something else I was going to answer to. They jumped on me here. Jay McGuffey said transhumanism, robotics, and nanotechnology integrated with human genome, anything's possible. Well, yeah, I mean, look what we're doing. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like we got robots now that can pretty much have a conversation with you. Now, of course, they're going to get a lot better. They're going to look more human like you and I. At some point, well, of course, we'll probably not be around to see it. What I mean is we can see these robots actually play chess with you and, you know, do all kinds of crazy stuff, have a conversation. But I'm talking about the ones that literally look exactly like you. There is no weird movements and none of that garbage. I mean, literally fluent. Everything about them is fluent. Where you'd be like, okay, that's creepy as hell. And crazy. Miss Here, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. Thank you, and keep it up. Aye, aye. Working out. Oh, where did this thing just go? What's going on there, Mr. Phil Cox, with daughters Jessica and Kelsey Brown? He says, hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. What's going on, Phil? Hope you're doing well. Great for all, he said, if the multiverse is real, then in other realities we already colonized Mars. Could very well have been. Oh, yeah, I totally agree with you, Turkle. And you said, what I want to say is let's say you are an engineer and a UFO alien is a doctor. most of the stuff as an engineer, we don't know about doctors. Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. So, but we do have people that are on here that will do that. In other words, like you said, they probably won't know anything about these UFOs, and it's totally alien, excuse the pun. But it's like yourself. If you were some kind of, it could be anything. You could be an engineer yourself, and maybe you're into, different metals, and your company makes different metals, and you combine them. You can make regular steel with, stainless and all kinds of other stuff. So at some point, if something happened, you said, "Hey, listen, I brought you this piece of steel. It's from another planet, but I don't tell you that." I go, "Can you tell me what this is made out of?" Of course, you put it under a microscope, you look at it, never seen anything like it. But it does have this weird metal in it, and you're like, okay. So you try to break it down for years and try to break it down until finally you figure out its components. You put it together. What Star Trek movie was that, folks? Where they made clear steel. It's like super strange. Remember there'd be whales here with Scotty when they had the whales. They had to bring them back. That was good, where they traded off like technology to help them build that so that they could take the whales back home. So that was pretty cool. But that's what it's all about. You learn, you build, you find out, you figure out. And it does. It takes time, like you guys were just saying earlier. True Blue 1872, it's not a UFO, it's a weather balloon. Well, yes, a lot of them actually been mistaken that, or those Chinese little candle type things and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff has been debunked, right? Some stuff, not so much though. And it's been mass sightings from every direction, so they see these things and they know that they're not like some kind of weird balloon or, things like that. Or Chinese lanterns or whatever they may be. David Vaught, what's going on? He said they have a NordiTrack on board to use daily. Yeah, I mean, I've seen them. They're actually treadmilling it. They're doing other things and stuff like that to, so they won't get, muscular atrophy and stuff like that. So yeah, really pretty cool, which they need to be able to do, right? Need to keep their bone density, their muscles, and everything else. Everything working well. Yeah, there you go, Noodles. Mars gold mining will keep the colonists in shape. Oh, yeah. Almost bet on that. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of, Josh D. He said the one after or the long voyage home. Mm-hmm. The voyage, okay, yeah. There'd be whales. That was actually a good movie. But they, remember Scotty says, listen, if I was to tell you how you can do this, because the guy's sitting at the computer going, what is this? This will never work. Well, if I was to show you there, mate, he's like, and he says, he's going, computer? It's not answering him. I thought that was funny. So I think you have to put the information in. Gertabanas, he said, space-time distortion quantum fields are much more advanced than we imagine. They're already managing to distort a laser beam, for example. Einstein's relativity. Okay, I get what you're saying. Already managed to just, okay. Yeah, I mean, but they've been working on this stuff for years, right? You're talking decades. Like anything that's got to do with quantum communications, laser, sound, just everything like that, microwaves, you name it, they've been doing it. And they're just advancing it more and more because we don't know how to stop. We're just human beings that just like to make things better. And it's like I said, we do it on a small scale here at your own house. Well, that couch looks old. It's time to get rid of that thing and get something new. You know what I mean? So, you want to better your stuff. But if you had a race car and you build it, and you built it by hand with your team, you want to make it go faster. What do? Bigger cam, bigger, whether it's fuel injection, bigger fuel injectors, so, I mean, there's some range of things. Software, you name it, it can be done. Transparent aluminum, thank you. Exists now and it's called, yeah, exactly. So what was like, ooh, that's cute in Star Trek, well, now it's an actual thing, right? Where did it go? Well, Mountain Bear says trial and error, trial and error. A machine to make another machine, etc. It does take time, but I want to go to the stars now. I don't blame you. Yeah, it's a lot closer than you think. I mean, of course, you got to have coin, you know. Big, big money if you want to, especially like take these little trips out there, you know. Ricardo. Beep, 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 blank, blank, blank. Danger, Will Robinson. Warning. What's going on there, Cloudy, with that chance of UFOs? Good to see you in there. David Vaught, you said they have to keep using up and expanding their budgets or else they'll get cut. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, you gotta throw some kind of BS at them. Yeah, you know, we're this close to finding maybe possible life. Well, they already found building blocks. We covered this last time in the live feed where they had already building blocks of, you know, they found this already. You know, it's basically organic molecules. So that's basically what they were looking for. Not quite 100%, but pretty darn close. So again, tell me why what they're still looking for. We can just get rid of this here, up here. All right, let's check out a couple photos. You guys have seen this one from Alien Hunter, and he's done this before. Now what I did is I just sharpened this one up a little bit. I'll show you this. I love the way they do this. Look at the way they put this white over the center of this. But you guys have seen this. He's done this on his channel plenty of times, and of course it is on you know, line for you to find yourselves. What I find interesting is it looks like they literally build into the lunar surface. I'm going to tell you why. Look at all of these little so-called craters. They're not. They look like they're like almost like a. Let me do this. How come I at here? Let's do this. Let me get my face out of the way so you guys can see this. All right. If you look down here at the bottom, you can see what looks like they're arched structures. Like they're like you can either fly in, it goes underground, or they're on like a flat pad type thing. And they're like different sizes, and they range in different sizes. Some, you can actually see they are in fact craters. You can see that, like these here. I don't know if I can go any further than that. Nope. But look at the way they put this like haze over certain areas to try to get rid of some of the stuff in here, right? What I found interesting, and I've seen this, you guys have seen this probably a million times, back here. There's too much uniformity going on here. There's too much going on here, folks. Look at this. Are you kidding me? I see what looks like all kinds of structures underneath this. Now, what I do is try to sharpen a little bit and try to bring this stuff out a little bit more. So let me do this. We'll go to the next one. Now, this is what I did, got a little bit clearer. And you can look at it either way because some of the white actually was sticking out better in the other one, but it's slightly clearer in this one. So you get the kind of balance of both. But what? Look at this stuff. And it's like all built in rows and stuff like that. There's no way that this is simple, you know, craters and garbage like that. There's just no way around that, right? Let me see here. Go back to the original. Like I said, it's got that haze over. You can see it right here. You can see where they do this right here. Come on. It's there for a reason. But you can see that. I mean, you can see like all these little structures all in a row right there. Now, and I said this in I think it was in my last interview. I was trying to remember if it was, who the heck I was talking about this. But I was saying this before, and I said, I also said it here in one of these Hangouts. It might have been last week or the week prior to that. When I questioned, what if we are the Nephilim? And what I mean by that is because we look at some of these structures on Mars, and for some reason it looks small. What is going on? Maybe this is the reason why some of these structures we see on the moon, they may be very small. And people go, well, I know people who've got telescopes. They can't see anything on the moon surface. Well, yeah, they probably won't. Because unless you're 75 miles over the lunar surface like the LROC is, or the Apollo missions, where they took photos at varied, you know, heights of off the lunar surface, then you're not going to see it. You're not going to, you know, first of all, there's no atmospheric distortion. You don't have the distance to deal with. You know, some people claim to see, you know, with their telescope, they claim to see structures on there, and I don't think they're seeing jack. You know, when you see these things that I've seen on here, they look totally different from what everybody else is seeing, because these photos are the real deal. Now, are they HD, 100%, pure quality? Hell no, they're garbage. But they're doing it for a reason. You should not see this kind of white banding going on in a photo. Now, don't get me wrong, these are old, and I get it. They can actually have this when they're, you know, when they're trying to, what's the word I'm looking for, guys? Okay. Oh, David's in there? Okay, David. John Shop. Anyway, what I was saying was like during the emulsification, all of these, they're trying to, you know, bring these photos out. You can get this, and you can get these weird things here too. Like, get it like a hair on the film. You can get these, now these dots I think were put in there to check distances. Now they had other reasons too, but you know, the way I see these, they're a certain, you know, distance apart, and if they're down here, they can tell just how far this area is apart from one to the other. You know what I mean? So they pretty much knew what they were doing when they did these. So yeah, I mean, but they did a lot to these photos. People are like, oh no, they wouldn't do nothing to these photos. Oh yeah, they would. And here's the cool part. Because now they didn't probably think people were going to have all these kind of computers, stuff to actually break this stuff down. Look at all the stuff here on the right. I got some moon photos coming up too, right after this one, where we can look down, and some of you might have seen it, some of you didn't, because these were in my videos. Some crazy looking things, just cool stuff. You got to look down at it. Now, if you're on a smaller device, yeah, you might want to get out your magnifier out because you'll be able to see these better. I don't believe in using something small like that. I mean, it's a good sized screen on like an iPhone and stuff like that, but even a tablet, like a 10-inch, 12-inch, 13-inch tablet are good, but they're not that good, you know what I mean? Not compared to a regular screen. Let me see what it was saying here. All right, let me see. David Voice had sent the signals, and it signals distortion of early days. Yeah, most of these photos are, you know, I hate the idea that they just do what they do to these photos, right? It's crazy. This one here was the China's rover now on Mars, okay? Now this is the one I had done a while back, and I'll just show the left and then show the whole right, where you can see there's things on the surface of Mars. Just look at all the little things in the background. You get these square looking objects right here. I'll put it right in the middle of the screen. It's a long white piece here. These other like panels coming down. This object right here. This was literally sticking up. The ground was so, excuse me, they censored this so much that you couldn't even see any individuality. It all looked like a white surface around this. It looks like some kind of weird monument, right? This black piece right here. And you can see it's clearly on some kind of like pad or some kind of support type thing. It's sitting on top of something. Not sure what that is, but there it is. Some other weird things. Keep in mind this stuff is being covered. So to try to drag some of this out, some of it's almost impossible. Some of the stuff right in the middle, not so much. Got some weird little shapes and stuff. But this is all just being, it's just, they made the ground look like it runs all the way back there, when a lot of this here is vertical. It's not all flat ground like you think it is. You can see like the tops are white things, but if you keep going, look what you find. There's other pieces and other things. It's like there's a wall type thing in here, which reminds me, let me go back to the, right over here real quick. This kind of looked like a broken up road when you look at it. Like you look at this piece right here, this white piece, and look at this one here on the right hand side of it, and it's like off, you know, to the side of it. Almost like a road type thing. Look at this right here. Piece right there, nice shape right there, right in the middle of the screen. All the other shapes in the background. Let me jump back here. I'm going to go all the way to the other side here. This is pretty interesting too. As you go over here, you find a lot more interesting things that just, what? Clearly it's not natural because it's right there. And they tried their darndest to try to hide some of this stuff. And you start getting into a couple of little shapes, nothing fancy. Just white specks of garbage and whatnot. That's pretty interesting. Has this like Two 90-degree angles right there. And we start getting into the cool stuff. Check this stuff out. Again, they put this texture over it to hide these whiter objects, but you can see this right here. Don't mind me, I'm just drinking some water here. These to me are just structures and they're right there. See, like there's objects like sitting on this flat area right here. Look at this. Like, it almost looks like a little dome piece here. Some other pieces here. Almost looks like a front of a spacecraft or something right there. Looks like little windows and stuff. I'm not saying that's what it is, but it kind of has that kind of appearance. And all down here you can see it's not as light or bright as it up here at the top, but look at on the bottom here. All these other pieces just below this long white area, stretched out area. Yeah, they're not there looking for rocks, folks. Yeah, Max K, he did. Yep. Alien Hunter done some close-ups of this mind-blowing. Yeah. It is a cool picture, no doubt. True Blue 1872 says they got two robots that talk to each other in their own language. Yeah. Well, they'll actually sit down and they're having a conversation about, you know, it's like humans should be like kind of extinguished kind of thing. And it's like, you know, just weird talk, but literally having conversations with each other, you know. Just cool and kind of creepy at the same time. Well, yeah, to a certain degree, Robert. Now, you know, I know what you're talking about, the ones that are like supposed to be like 10, 15 feet tall, even taller than that. Robert, you were saying that, Chris, we can't be the Nephilim because of all the real giants we've found. Well, let's suppose, though, we're bigger than the ones that were on the moon and Mars. Maybe we weren't the biggest here. I don't know. Because some of the things we exposed, they look really darn small, right? Let's see. Here's the lander right here, the ramp. Now, of course, the rover. Yeah, I mean, this goes back a little bit, but it's not that much. And yet these things are all here. I don't think they're very big, folks. And every time we see a photo lately, these things don't look that big. They try to make distances look like they are a long distance, and they're not. Yep, Jonathan Waddell is in the house. What's going on there, Steve Wagner? James Cragen, thank you very much for your support, sir. As always, this is Chris, a cloth for the CGI boy. Glasses big time. Yeah, well, I think they do a fine job of it. The problem with it is that they do overlook some spots. So, yeah, maybe they do need them. I think you're right, James. Yeah, I found this really crazy. And like I said, they're all in these crafts, whether it be something orbiting, a lander, a rover. They're all in different spots, but they're not, you know, like they're not in the northern hemisphere or they're not in the south. They're all happen to be, guess where? Next to the equatorial region. Just below the area of Cydonia region. Anyway, so let's see. All right, this is the one I was talking about where I had done this photo. You can see the capsule where these guys, I think they're ascending. And folks, watch this. Just have a look at some of the things in here. Just this part of the photo alone, the smaller pieces here, where it looks like them pads with the black areas and stuff like that. You can see it right here. You got this, what looks like an octagonal kind of shape here. All right, go on here. That's why I was like drinking, trying to, because my throat was dry. But just have a look. I can zoom in a little bit more. I just don't want it to break apart too much. This is where it gets pretty cool too. Let's just go down the bottom here. Watch this. All these little pieces, they're almost in the dark. The ones that are not in the dark. All right here. This one actually looks like it's a tower standing up right here. You can see it. Right there. You got these other pieces there. They always seem to be this white pad, almost the same shape somewhat, but there's always something black right in the middle. And it's not that it's concave like a crater. It's actually flat with something on top of it. What are you down here in the lower right? Check this stuff out. In the middle of the screen and everything else. I'm just checking what you guys are seeing here. Scientific search for extraterrestrials. What's going on? I said, wow, it looks like a city. Yeah, there's so much in here. Now, again, people say, well, how could they possibly see that? We look at these things all the time. I know, but we don't know if these are really small in comparison to something we build, or because we're not able to see anything close enough with a telescope here on Earth, where you'd be able to see that with the LROC photos. Now, I've had an argument with somebody who was on there, not really, I mean, they didn't really know how to debate. They just got a little foolish, but I said, they were like, well, I've seen photos of the LROC, they're like crystal clear. Not all of them. And even the ones that are really good ones, I've dissected some of these photos, and what looks like a flat area, this thing's actually standing up right there. You can actually bring it out. But unless people have been with the channel for a long time and see the way I break these things down and you can see them pop right out in front of your eyes, you'd never even know it. You'd be like, oh yeah, this guy's out of his mind. And that's fine. Listen, I mean, people are, you know, they can make up their own decisions. I'm just saying what I see. I like to do it like this because I take out the magnifier and look at this. Oh my God, there's tons of stuff in this photo. Just absolutely crazy, this stuff that's in here. Because I love to white these things out too. And that's bringing this photo down, folks. This is bringing it way down. Because we do have some craters in there too, of course. Yeah, just cool, cool stuff. And here's the other thing. People are like, oh, I should be able to see that. Not if it's on the other side of the moon. Again, because it's locked, it's tidal locked. And, you know, if it's locked, you can't see it on the other side of the moon. So we don't know if they built a bunch of bases on the other side of the moon, knowing that at some point, people on this planet will be able to see them. And they want to keep hidden. I don't know. I don't know the true answer. What we can do is speculate. But, I mean, you know, what are these if they're not structures? All right. This is pretty cool. This is when Alien Hunter had done this photo here. I think it was, I'm trying to remember if it was China that had done this part here, or if it was, it might have been China. But what I had done this in, I actually said I was going to send this to him, and I think I even done a video on this where I enhanced this first in this orange kind of shape, call it. And this is what I found in there. But funny enough, I had done a video before showing it a different perspective. And you can see it is the same darn thing. If you're looking at it from this direction, coming up between this point of the yellow and the orange, you can see it going in from this direction, looking over to here. So all of these things fall right into place. You got the big one here, and you get something right on the side of it. Well, look, right there. It's over and on the side of it, of this one. The one in the center has what looks like an inner ring. Well, guess what? The one in the middle's got like an inner ring type thing. The one way in the back has this piece coming out. Of course, they fudged the hell out of it. You can actually see it right here. Right there, they actually blotched this right out. But you can see something right here, and then something like a rectangular long tube type thing. Well, guess what? It's right there. You just happen to be seeing it from this direction, from lower left up to here, going up to the upper right. You just happen to be seeing it in that direction. That's the reason why you don't see this middle section, but you see here, this white piece and this round piece. Well, you can see it right there. And of course, we got the back one right there. Funny how we see it in two different perspectives, and they're pretty much the same darn thing. What's the chance of that? Unless, of course, it's actually there. Yeah, you're spot on there, Ricardo, when you said that the moon landings were fake, the moon landings were real. Both are true. They did both and presented a blend of each to the public. Yep. But that's just to see two different perspectives, and guess what? They pretty much show the same thing. There's it right there. Okay, this is what I was talking about before, where on the right-hand side you have the Curiosity rover power plant on the right-hand side, and Apollo 14th power plant right here. Imagine that. So go back to the Apollo 14. What year was that? Yeah. And then, of course, we have the Curiosity power plant. And, of course, it's basically the same thing that's being used by Perseverance. But they had the technology back then, folks. So how do we know if you got a certain propulsion that works on a minimal amount of energy, you have these radioisotope thermoelectric generators that can produce enough power to ignite this thing, a little bit of fuel, and just go where they got to go. And this is back in the late 60s, early 70s. So they had the technology even back then, folks. Renee V said they are connected to each other. Yeah, I think you're right. You're talking about the moon photo, right? Yeah. And there it is again. Here's that one I was telling you about, Apollo 15 in the Mountains of the Moon, 1971 HD. This is HD, yeah, right. Just somehow they just couldn't get the camera to work right. I mean, it's just so, yeah, overexposed. Imagine that. These guys weren't dummies with the Hasselblad folks. They had them, they taught them, they retaught them how to use the cameras and everything else. These guys weren't dummies. They knew what the hell they were doing. Yeah, look at this photo. Edward Williams, thank you very much for your support, sir. I really do appreciate you. It's an awesome channel. Again, I appreciate it. If you look in the back here on this wall, what is going on here? This thing here looks almost cylindrical. You can see it right there, this white part of it, and then it's kind of like a blackish, darker color going across. But look at the shapes in this so-called hillside, or whatever this is supposed to be. Even if it's a crater wall, which the way it's shaped, I don't think that it is. But believe it or not, there's more to this photo, folks. If you were to just bring down all the brighted areas here, there's much more in this photo. I've done it already. And I don't know about you all, but that doesn't look like just sand or gravel or boulders or something on the side of a hill. All right, I'm gonna jump out of that one. But again, totally overexposed. Now, I'm not sure what the deal is back there, but even this right here, look at the way in the back there. What is going on with that? What kind of shape is that in there? That's what I'm saying. It just doesn't make sense. You should not see this kind of stuff on the moon. Now, this in here was from the Indian Space Organization. And let me tell you about this. I actually showed this in when I was in Alabama in the Mars conference. Everybody's like, ooh, ah. All I did is I took this photo, the one on the left, put it into Photoshop, did auto color, auto contrast, auto brightness. This is what it came out. The only difference I did do is make it a little bit darker, okay? The reason, and people are like, well, you can probably fudge the color. No, because here's the thing. Look at the bottom. Look at these little, their little insignia here on the bottom, on the both bottom right corners. They are the same color. Now check this out. Keep in mind, the whole photo is put into Photoshop. And now all you see in the right photo is that it's just darker. It's still blue and orange, or like a peachy color kind of thing. And so wasn't the other one on the original. But the only difference is that one just got a little bit darker because I said I did bring down the brightness. But why did the photo, or why did Mars itself change so drastically, yet the insignia did not? Think about that a minute. James taking off. Oh, somebody is. Master King K, he said lawn chairs on the rover. This was fake. No, actually it wasn't. It was because they were trying to make this thing as light as possible, and they had like these 4 electric motors and 1 for each wheel, and it was basically all completely foldable, and they put it on the capsule. If you watch that, how it's made, they literally take this door off, or they bring it down, and this thing actually unfolds. The wheels spring out and lock. It's crazy how they put this thing together. But like I say, with this photo here, like I said, when I put it into Photoshop, the Mars changed, the insignia did not. And the only reason why I got darker is because I darkened the photo. Same color insignia, Mars changed drastically. Why? Because that's the part that was actually fake. The insignia was not. Yeah, let's spin this bad boy around. Looks a lot like Earth, as far as I'm concerned. What do you guys think? And even here, you can see there's an atmosphere. And you can see its craters, and you can see the ground. It's got blues and greens and brown, all that good stuff. And oh yeah. No, they're not lying to us. It's all BS. This is the one with the InSight lander I was telling everybody about when we seen the video. A lot of you seen the video where it says right here, and that's the name of the video, NASA's InSight spacecraft makes historic landing on Mars. And of course, look at all the specs in there. I think that's an actual filter they put over this. So when it takes its first picture and takes its, like I said, its first photo of Mars, in case there was something there they didn't want the public to see, they put this filter of specks all over it. And, everybody's looking at it. But this guy here, closest to the screen with the headset on, you literally see him when he's live in this. He starts walking around the people in front of him. Oh, I'm sorry, behind him. And he goes around to the left of these people. And he's going, yeah. He's saying something like real quick. And then all of a sudden, it changes to this. What is going on here? This is the funny part. The guy that was actually saying, basically on TV to the public, he says, well, here you can actually see where the cover was, you can see the specs are on here. They're probably put on the lens cover. Well, wait a minute. Which one was it? Was the lens cover on this one, or was it on this one? This is what I'm saying. It's just weird how they lie to the public, but they're this very first one, blue sky, brown ground. And yet, all of a sudden, bam, what just happened? Okay. Blue sky, folks. James Cragen, he said, Chris, did you see the announcement by the NASA, etc., saying that they are delaying the mission to send man on the moon back to 2025? Do you know anything about this? No, I heard the same thing. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they just think the technology is not right or whatever the reason. I don't know. I didn't get into it enough to really know for sure. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Definitely have to look into it. What's going on there, Oliver Klein? Good to see you. I said, hello all. Miss Heard, you said this is what our tax dollars go to. Lying, deceitful snakes. Pretty much. Exactly. All right, this is what I was doing last time. When I said a lot of these little things you see in kind of the blur, like on the moon and stuff like that, this was Manhattan Island. And what I did was I took the color off and I blurred it purposely. Now look at these look like. Hardly any details other than just shapes. You look at the difference. It's the same island, obviously. You can even see the bridges still going back to the mainland. But you can see all of these nice little buildings. You can see they're pretty crisp. You can even see the air conditioning units on the roofs here. So pretty decent photo. Of course, you can't go too far because look at it starts to break up. But you can see all the nice little pieces, individuality. But when you take this, okay, you look at like, here's a good example. Next to these two harbor areas. Look at all these buildings right here. Okay, right there. Now, what do they look like in the blurred photo? Garbage. It looks like one big square and just a couple of blurred out shapes. So you're not seeing the individuality of these things, and that's what they're doing to these photos. This is exactly what they're doing. But that's what I had done this in a video before showing people that. This is pretty cool. This is actually the southeastern part of Gale crater, or at least, Gale crater. And of course we have the mountain here in the background, but is it really mountains? When you start burning just a hair bit into these things, look for the lines in here, and you start seeing these little crazy pieces coming out of this, you know, manipulation and all that kind of stuff. I always said that the way these so-called hills are lined up, it looks like a car lot. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Look at just the shapes in there come out of nowhere, and then it's just complete garbage, right? You see all these little shapes in here, under these arrows. But again, they put this crap over it so you can't really see what's really going on or what's really here. And you can see these all lined up. They're all in a row. Check that out. What is going on? Now, this again is from the Curiosity rover. And there you go. I mean, this right here. Call it the giant Twinkie. But, you know, all kidding aside, but check this stuff out, folks. These are not mountains. Never have been. Way up in there, you can see the darker pieces up here. All these other pieces kind of mixed in with the manipulation. Here's a perfect example. You go back here. Look how nice and clean these rocks are. Oh yeah, it looks great. Now, if you were standing here, you could put your feet on here, and your feet would be pretty large on these rocks. But look at, they make it look like, oh my God, look how far it is away. It's not. I can almost promise you can walk right over there and just look at the stuff that's laying here. Not sure what they are. Structures, some kind of weird crafts. I don't know what they are. But some of these things actually have the shape like a front of an airplane, for crying out loud. But they all seem to be all lined up. Or is it one massive structure that's all been beat up and broken apart? Look at this, almost looks like it has a doorway in here. You can see it right in there. Yeah, Jerry Haines said, Chris, the good news is that there must be good stuff if they cover so much up. Yeah, exactly. What's going on there, Whitebeard Sky Daddy? I don't know if I've seen you creep in there. And somebody lets lots of stuff through for us to find. Yeah, I'm always positive. It's like a kind of like a real slow drip kind of thing going on, right? But again, this is supposed to be, you know, just simple buttes and little hills and all this other crap, but yeah. This is the one trying to remember if this was, this is the, I forget how many megapixels this photo was, maybe you guys will remember, but this is from the Hubble. But they said it was like picking up a grain of sand and looking at it through the telescope, and that's what they're saying. Folks, look at this. I mean, oh my God. You can see galaxies, you can see stars, freaking quasars and all this other crap going on here. But what is going on? Look at this. Look at them all. And they say it's like a grain of sand on a beach. That's the area they're looking at in the sky. So, yeah, we're the only one that has life here, guys. I promise. We're the only one. There's no way that that's true. Goes on and on and on. It looks like nebulas and all kinds of other stuff in here. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Look at this. It's one area alone. Looks like solar systems, galaxies, different. Absolutely cool. James Cragen, thank you again, sir. I do appreciate it. You said, Chris, blockbuster stuff, man. Vids this week also. Oh, yeah, I thought they were pretty darn good myself. I mean, I was trying to give a balance of what people really want to see right now because most of the stuff, I'm the same way you guys are. I love the idea of the moon, a lot of the Mars stuff. I like looking through the rock photos because there's a lot of crazy stuff and stuff that's being hidden in the background. But when you see the things like the trees, and I do have a couple more of those coming up as well. In fact, I do have a couple photos of what looks like supposedly supposed to be trees on Mars, or they're supposed to be like these vents that they call them, that coming out of the ground. But when you see this one photo, and I'll be honest with you guys, there's a couple of photos I don't even have the actual ID number to, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but I'll still do the videos anyway so you guys can get a look. But it has a lot of the whited ground again, where they're blotching stuff out and you can't really see, but when you bring this stuff out, it looks like structures, looks like little roadways, and looks like all kinds of other crazy stuff. Let me watch, he said, we are not alone, 100% not alone. I agree. What's going on there, Jerry McDonald? Good to see you in there. Dean Brazil's in there. What's going on, Dean? You guys are all creeping up in there now. Daniel Webster. And you said, and the sad thing is, they said that if you ever want the information, the government has to be given complete amnesty or forgiveness. It'd be one of them. We done it for your own good. Well, and here's the thing. Let me ask you guys a question. If they come out and they make this statement, a huge statement saying, yes, folks, we've been lying to you. We've been trying to keep it from the people because of this reason. Would you be super angry, or would you go, yeah, we already knew that. Why don't you just tell it anyway? Because the way I look at it is this. If they came out and they showed it to us, then I'm happy that they are. And that's what it's all about, right? Get it out. Show the people. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Oh, alien bombshell. UFOs buzzing U.S. warships. Maybe aliens as encounters show something we don't understand, says America's top spy chief. Let me see here.
Able to understand everything about it. And a large portion of that is based on the fact that we don't have a consistent way of reporting this information. We need to integrate, frankly, a lot of data that we get. We need to get better at collecting information that's useful to us from different sensors that are available to us. And we have to deepen our analysis in these areas. And that's something that, frankly, probably also doesn't surprise you, in the sense that that's how we typically approach our intelligence work. And the main issues that Congress and others have been concerned about are basically safety of flight concerns and counterintelligence issues. But of course, there's always the question of, is there something else that we simply do not understand that might come extraterrestrially?
What Peter Hinckley captured is unbelievable.
I mean, you can see this right here. I mean, it's just funny how, I had to pause this for a second, but this is Avril Haines, the Director of National Intelligence, DNI, who oversees all 16 U.S. spy agencies, including the FBI and CIA, was speaking at our Future in Space event at the Washington National Cathedral. And of course, they're talking about checking out UFOs and everything else. And while the report, which analyzed 144 sightings, did not explicitly spell out a possible alien connection, it did not rule it out either, as a mystery continues. Ms. Haines appeared to crack the door open even further for the possible alien link at the event, where she spoke alongside NASA Chief Bill Nelson, leading expert Professor Avi Loeb, and the world's second richest man, Jeff Bezos. So, yeah, what do you guys think? Do you really think they're actually from outer space, or do you think it's something that we have made, or somebody else in the planet has made, these other UFOs? Do you believe that they're, ours, or otherwise, or both? So, C, all of the above, or A or B? Let me see here. What's going on, Sean? I like that. I always forget to hit the like button. Yeah, some people do. It kind of happens, you know. Sometimes I do that. Then I go, oh, hell, I'll go back and hit it. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do. Here's another interesting one right here. It says, the memo that proves aliens landed at Roswell released online by the FBI. Now, when you read this, of course, it's hard to read some of these words because the way this thing is typed out, it's kind of weird. An investigator for the Air Force stated that 3 so-called flying saucers had been recovered in New Mexico. They were described as being circular in shape and raised centers, approximately 50 feet in diameter. Each one was occupied by 3 bodies of human shape, but only 3 feet tall. Dressed in a metallic cloth of very fine texture. Each body was, not sure what that even says, in a manner, I don't know if it was similar to blackout suits, I guess it was dressed or something along the lines. Suits made by high-speed flyers and test pilots. According to Mr., and of course they crossed it out, informant, the sources were found in New Mexico due to the fact that the government had a very high-powered radar setup in that area, and it is believed that the radar interference with the controlling mechanism of the sources. No further evaluation was attempted by, and of course it doesn't say, concerning the above. So, yeah. But, I mean, look at, what does it say, Guy Hotel, Washington. So, yeah, come on. Of course this stuff is as real as can be. I mean, it's right there in your face kind of thing, right? Terry Kelling, thank you very much for your support, sir. I do appreciate you. Another awesome. Hey, what is it? Oh, I hate when this thing. Hold on. Go back to, yeah, again, thank you, Terry. I appreciate it. There's another comment I was just ready to read, and it just jumped on me here. I see Carter, he said, I think that's how you pronounce your name, I'm not sure, but he said, I'd say both. Yeah, I agree with you. I think so too. Chinese scientists just set the record for the farthest quantum teleportation. Now, of course, this is on like molecular kind of scale, right? This is not like beaming you and I think it says something like that. Chinese scientists have just shattered the record of teleportation. No, they haven't beamed anyone up to a spaceship. Rather, they sent a packet of information through Tibet to a satellite in orbit up to 870 miles, or 1,400 kilometers, above the Earth's surface. More specifically, the scientists beamed the quantum state of a photon, information about how it is polarized, into orbit. Not only did the team set the record for a quantum teleportation distance, they also showed that one can build a practical system for long-distance quantum communications. Imagine that. Yeah, so such a communication system would be impossible to eavesdrop on without alerting the users, which would make online communications much more secure. Something like perhaps NASA's using? Could very well be. Imagine that. Especially when they found out, or the people that were working for NASA didn't even realize what was going on, and found out they were, every time there would be a Earth rise, not a sunrise, but Earth rise from Mars, that the rovers were literally sending the information back to Earth, to the Deep Space Network, within seconds, not 5 to 20 minutes. That tells me they already have it. And they've already had it for quite a long time. So I find that pretty cool. ET signal from Proxima Centauri, a conversation with Breakthrough Initiatives, Peter Warden. I love the way they say this. The signal was probably just interference, but the search for techno signatures continues, right? So they call it the Breakthrough Listen Project, right? It's a 100 million Breakthrough Listen Project is scanning the heavens for possible signals from alien civilizations, okay? News travels fast. At a lickety-split speed of light, potentially. Back in December, great attention was paid to a report that a mysterious radio signal appeared to have come from vicinity of Proxima Centauri, the closest star to Earth. Voice is getting, my throat's getting dry. Proxima Centauri, which is just 4.2 light years from us, is known to host 2 planets. One of those 2 worlds, Proxima B, is slightly more massive than Earth and might be capable of supporting life as we know it. Of course, they've been saying this for a long time, right? Which I think is cool. Yeah, Critter Bonus, he said teleportation, made in China. Yeah. This one here, I think I can actually, I'm not sure though. Let me see here.
At its max speed of about 17,600 miles per hour, it would take NASA's space shuttle about 165,000 years to reach the Alpha Centauri star system. NASA's Voyager 1 probe would take over 70,000 years traveling at 17.3 kilometers per second. But with a probe that can travel 20% the speed of light, we can reach it in just over 20 years. That's exactly what the Breakthrough Starshot initiative is calling for. The idea is to send light sail riding nanocrafts to gather data and images on the Alpha Centauri system. If the technology, which should work in theory, is developed, the same light beamer used to move the tiny spacecraft could deliver data and images back to Earth 4 years after collecting it.
We are on the brink of really making enormous breakthroughs in terms of our ability to apprehend the existence of life around on other planets that circle other stars. Astronomers and exobiologists are working together to conceive whole new strategies for identifying life at a distance.
Proxima Centauri's potentially habitable planet is closer than Alpha Centauri's stars. And it will make a great target for astronomers for years to come, and potentially for a nanocraft of the future. To learn more about Breakthrough Starshot and Proxima Centauri, click the links in the video description. And for Space.com, I'm Steve Spalletta.
Well, thank you, Steve Spalletta. Real deep voice. But yeah, I mean, who's to say they haven't even at least attempted it? To put crafts out there in different, planets and moons and everything else. And this is how they get more knowledge of what's really going on, right? As far as life on other planets or moons or other bodies out there. I mean, who knows? Yeah, I think you're right, David. He said, apprehend other life? Whoa, we want to control them or what? LOL. Well, I mean, yeah, it's all fun and games till we run into maybe a real, bad civilization, which would literally incinerate you when they first look at you. But yeah, it'd be all crazy until they go, oh my God, what is that? Because you don't know if at some point you send like a probe, or let's say we have space travel, we can travel quickly through space. Even if it's not quite as fast as speed of light. But let's suppose you get to another planet and there's like structures everywhere. You don't know if these people are hostile, you don't know what. And you may not hear nothing from them again. But yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a kind of goes in a no crap category that we're definitely not alone, folks. I mean, come on. There's no way we're alone. Never have been. There you go, Jay McGovern, QSO cards from. Yeah, just do a little CQ at night. I think you'll contact somebody at some point. But who's to say? I mean, they might have been. Keep in mind, radio's been out. I just kicked this thing at me. Ham radio's been out for years, right? So, and there's always been people transmitting, thinking that they could probably talk to somebody out in the stars. Nikola Tesla, there you go. And it's kind of like, what was it, The Contact. Remember the Jodie Foster there when she was young, she was on her dad's rig and stuff like that, so it was pretty cool. But, I mean, it's like, they've been trying this since the dawn of time when they thought they could transmit. Of course, the bigger antenna and more power and stuff like that, you could probably get out there and talk. How do you know that they haven't received a signal? How do we know? Right, Mars invades, ray guns. LOL, We were allowed to land on the moon, and they warned off, and then we warned off. Yep. Miss Heard, you said those rockets used on the Challenger shuttle in 1986, those also destroyed. That also destroyed it due to freezing temps at launch. Yeah. That was like an O-ring thing, I think it was, that went catastrophically wrong, right? Look at this, says the worst thing we could do is let the universe know we're here. Well, it depends. I mean, think about it, if we think we're technologically advanced to protect ourselves, maybe, but we have no idea what their technology is, unless, again, they're privy to these alien species already, meaning there's people like us, other beings like us, and they communicate and said, this is what's going on, blah, 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 blah. You know, you keep it cool, we keep it cool, everything's good. You can go to these planets, you can check out the moon, you can do all kinds of stuff to a certain degree, because, you know, they say they've been warned off. But at some point, they might say, you know, you can do that just, you know, we don't want any kind of weapons up there, we don't want anything, you don't have to expect anything up there to try to eat you or attack you, so, you know, you don't need weapons up there, whatever, whatever. Who knows what the agreements are, if this is all true, right? Space Force, Girl Force, JJ West fan says negatively velocity drive is I think you're putting the choice propulsion system of the United States Space Force 1980. Yeah, but that was called the Star Wars project at the time, wasn't it? Hope you guys check out a copy. Interesting. Noodles, you said, look at this. Seems like we can't get our radio signals back. Darn. Sure, and you're not alone. Of course, you're looking a little upside down at the moment, but yeah. Miss Here, you said, yep, Chris, another. Here said the rockets not needed after 1947. I was pointing out that the 1986 Challenger explosion was due to rockets. Well, yeah, pretty much. I mean, the thing is, if they're working with, and we know they were back in the 40s and 50s, with, you know, working on anti-magnetics, all kinds of crazy stuff like that, different propulsions. I'm talking now, we're talking about plasma ion, all these different drives, like I said, anti-gravitics. You know they've been working on that for like years. So you know at some point they perfected this thing. Well, pretty much got it down. So they're not going to use these stupid little Atlas Vs and all these other, you know, kind of, to me, they're prehistoric. I mean, we're still using the same damn thing, a giant firecracker. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. So, you know, if they started working on it in the 40s or 50s, they pretty much got it perfected. Hence, Tic-Tac UFO, other crafts we see around the world. Now, does that mean there's no spacecraft from out there? Sure. I think there is. Absolutely. So I think there's a combination of both. This may be our defense force, and we're just taking it out for a test drive. How do we know? We do have a new Space Force, right? So how do we know this isn't our Space Force that's part of it, and we're just trying it out? Of course, you would think you'd take it out for a ride out in space, but who the hell knows, right? Devender Penasar, I think it is. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing them right, but hello, thanks for doing what you're doing. Big help to the planet. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. White Beard Sky Daddy says, gravity drive propels the Space Force fleet. Pretty much. Long Island, New York, he said, just got on a train after a long day of work in Manhattan. Glad to have this stream to fall back, I'm sorry, to on the commute home. Thanks, Chris and Mars and Emily's family. Well, I appreciate you being here, man. Man, that is a long day, isn't it? Whew, mercy. Exactly, Ricardo. You're right about that. He said no one sits on the top of $1 billion candle and does not pray. Yeah, because even back then, all the like Apollo 11, they're going, oh, they probably had the life insurance, this, that, and the other. I'm sure they did a couple Hail Marys and prayed like hell too. So yeah, you can almost guarantee it. Noodles, you said part of this disclosure is the question: who are the drivers of the Tic-Tacs? Well, unless they're like a drone type thing, like they're throwing the ideas around. If we truly did, make anti-gravitics, we perfected it or whatever, then we probably don't have any issues. But if we don't, then they're just drones. And because we have drones that can fly all over the world, right? We don't have to be in them. We don't have to be near them. Just kind of fly it through satellite guidance and everything else, and we can go to Iraq and just bomb the hell out of them, or any country we want to. And other countries are getting the same kind of technology, so, who's to say we can't build something much, much faster? I've seen like model jets, like remote control. The things are like, whew, they're screaming. And so why not build something that could do that? And if they do it like a drone first, build a lot bigger one, and then put people on it, see how they can handle it and stuff like that. So, yeah. Yeah, Limey Watch, you said yes, the Tic-Tac, they were recorded back in the 40s. They also had just regular standard cigar shape. Remember those? Same thing, basically same shape. Maybe one stretched out more than the other. Pretty much the same thing, right? I Rage, good question. You said, anyone else ever wonder why it is that the Greys are able to breathe oxygen? Few people ever report them having any kind of breathing apparatus, which is true. Great point. That is a really good point. And I've never heard anything about that either. So, yeah, it makes you wonder, have they been here all this time and maybe they can breathe ours? Maybe they live in inner Earth, like, under the ocean or whatever, and they can breathe our air with no problem? Maybe they've been here for thousands, who knows? But it's a great question. Pete's Vlogs, you said, sounds like a good idea, Chris. Yeah. John Shop, you said time travel maybe? Could be. What's going on there, Tim Houston? Good to see you in there. Jonathan, you said, Chris, I just sent you a picture to your face. I just seen that. That was you, okay. You might be interested in. Yeah, I'll check it out. I've seen the phone like kind of light up on the side of me here. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Talking about the Andromeda sky and stuff like that, and the Hubble high-res panorama of Andromeda galaxy. Yeah, and it says a Hubble deep field, and that's pretty much what I showed you guys. That photo. It's supposed to be like totally high quality. That's why you can zoom into it, and just crazy stuff. And that's pretty much what he just sent me. But they had like the littlest pot in the sky, and it showed all of these. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but you can see this little square. Let me see if I can see it here. Probably not. No, you won't be able to see it because it is the color of the screen. But anyway, it's got this rectangular area, and it's got this round circle, and it shows this little tiny square within this rectangular area. So picture this little tiny square in this big rectangular box, and it just like opens it up, and it shows like a round, like zoomed in part of that area. And it shows pretty much what I just showed you guys in that high def when there's galaxies and everything else. Just crazy. It's just a speck. And look at the stuff that's in that one area. It's just absolutely insane. Oh, now we're getting into Cylons now. Noodles, thanks for by your command. I used to love that show. Noodles, you said this is the last science ever if we are correct. That's scary. Mm-hmm. Look at this as best scenarios, it's ours. If it's aliens or Russia or China, not good at all. Well, again, though, I mean, wouldn't they have done something a long time ago with it? Maybe they just came out with it. Maybe they're just test driving the thing and haven't really done anything with it. See, that's the whole key to it. If, no matter who builds this thing, again, it's like they're flaunting it like, hey, check this out. Watch it freak everybody out. And we'll just play off like we don't know where it's coming from either. So it's either the United States, it could be China, like you said, Russia, it could be anybody. And they're just kind of like, now, just understand, we can go anywhere you people live, and you can't catch us. So now they're trying to make, like that woman was talking about, Avril, whatever her name was, where she was saying that we have to build sensors enough to be able to spot and see these things. So is it just a big playoff and it's really our crafts? Or is it truly they don't know and they're thinking it's another country? I don't know. At some point, listen, again, they can look at the Earth with such detailed, views, and yet you can't see these things traversing around the ground coming out of the ocean. Of course, it depends. You have to be like literally staring at one area for like a long period of time. But if you have an idea and you can triangulate where these things are coming from, you should be able to get some basic idea, right? Come on. I would think so anyway. These guys are not stupid. These are high-tech people that know this stuff, right? Space Force Girl Force, JJ, you said, think of the Tic-Tacs like the whiskers on the 90s TV show Sequest and DSV. Yeah, good show. Okay. I Rage, you said China just flaunted a hypersonic, nuclear capable missile. UFO needs to get to top that mighty fast. Could all of these UFOs be China's? No way. What they have now is pretty damn scary, though. Well, my thing is, keep in mind, let's suppose that, the Tic-Tacs are like either from the Russians or China or whatever. But that doesn't mean we're not hiding our technology, right? You can bet we have something that could take that thing out. But they're playing off like, oh, it's, you got to understand, this is real here. We got to be, we really got to watch what we're doing here. We got to find out who these things or where they originate from. I don't know. Batman said, hey, can you link this article? This particular one here, UFO International Project. Well, usually after I'm done with the live feeds, I'll put all the links in there so you guys can check them all out. So we got, 4 links we can put up there? So you'll definitely get those. Oh, poor guy. Long Island, you said a long time ago I tried to organize an army to come after Bruce after he called you out, and he's still angry over 2 years later. Oh yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's sad. It truly is. And so many people are just so pissed off with him. From what I understand, that's what people are telling me. I don't even care. He just doesn't mean shit to me. I think it's comical, actually. Let's see. Jay McGuffey, you said China, U.S., and Russia must show restraint with these game-changing weapons. Well, again, if that's who they truly are. Now, don't get me wrong, they got their own share of weapons, right? They're getting their high technology, they're getting up there pretty well, so on and so forth. But we were ahead of them long before they started catching up. So it's hard to tell what we actually have, right? If we had the SR-71 back in the day, and this thing was designed, probably put down on paper in the 40s, late 40s, made in the 50s, again, you can only imagine what we got now. So is it possible we have that thing and we're just playing off like we have no idea? We don't have any idea who's built this thing. I don't know. Carmine, you said, I think the Tic-Tacs are U.S. advanced military drones because they only interact with our military. No swarms of Tic-Tacs over a city of, or amongst civilization, aliens. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Because just because they're by the side of like these warships out in the oceans doesn't mean, you know, that, you know, they're enemies of them. Because clearly they would have done something to the ships. Think about it. Or maybe they're just not that well developed. In other words, they got the space flight or the flight of these things pretty much down, but there's no weapons on them, none of this, none of that, no people in them, whatever. Just a bare bones, fly it around, okay, it works. Now what's the next step? So, but again, if I was the maker of this thing, of this Tic-Tac, I'm going to play off like I don't know who it is. I don't know. I don't have a clue who could have done this. Who could it be? Think about it. Again, I can say that. It's got speed. You can't catch up to it to capture it. So I can pretty much go in your backyard and there's not a thing you can do about it. It makes perfect sense to act like, I don't know whose that is. You know, how many times have you guys seen it in China or Russia? But eventually you probably will. And then they'll be like, yeah, we're seeing it over here too. And at some point, you're going to have to figure out who's doing this or whose craft it is. And if it isn't ours, which I have a feeling it is, a strong feeling that it is, and if it's not, then I don't think I'd worry about if they were aliens. Again, if they were coming to this planet with those kind of crafts, they're just coming to observe us. In other words, stop with the fear-mongering. It's a bunch of crap. It's not a big deal, right? Rage, you said, like I said, USA will need to top that very soon, and you bet we will. They have had their hand forced by China. Well, again, I mean, as we're building our stuff behind the scenes, so aren't they, right? So in other words, China's doing their technological thing, their weapons, they're going out into space, they want to build space stations, so on and so forth. They want to have one around the moon. They want to do all kinds of stuff, which is fine. You know, I don't have a problem with that, but I mean, at the same time, we're also building ours, and we've been, oh my God, the technology I've heard from people, in fact, I've had people actually text me, or I should say email me, I'm sorry, email me, and they'll say, you know, when you were talking about last night about secret crafts and everything, I can tell you now that we have technology you can't even dream of, and of course I'll go on there and I'll say, well, tell me more, and it just says it failed. And never delivers because it's just to send it out and it's anonymous. That's all you hear about it. So, and that's pretty much it. You don't hear another thing about it. So, and I don't doubt that. Don't doubt that at all. I guess what do you call saying the same thing? Hold on. Ricardo, okay. You were talking to Terry. He said, do you have any news on the Black Knight, the so-called alien satellite that's still up there? Truthfully, I think it still is. I don't think it's been taken out of space, but then again, I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. But it would be interesting to know if it is, because, you know, they talked about it. And of course, you know, people would say, oh, no, there's nothing but a thermal blanket. It was just a cover. And basically what they're saying is now most of the photos are legit. They are a blanket. They went over the trunnion pin. There's two of them. They stick up out of, when I was on the STS missions, they stood out like this on the craft itself. There's big, thick steel pins. They were trunnion pins. And what those would do is these objects would go into the actual shuttle bay. And what they do is they lock inside the shuttle area, into the cargo area, and they'd lock in. That's what those trunnion pins are for. Well, these covers were on them, and one just happened to escape. So most of the photos are, in fact, correct, and they are correct. However, there's one thing that they didn't see, and it was in the photo. That one is not. That one is not a what do you call it? Cover or blanket. Call it what you're a thermal blanket. I think is what they called it. Exact words. But like I said, we, you know, Billy Carson and I, and he's got other people talking on there. We got that. That's supposed to be coming out soon. I have to ask him exactly when, but that's supposed to be coming out soon as far as the Black Knight satellite. Basically a documentary where I'm in there with Billy and stuff like that. And I've done my enhancements and brought this thing out. This thing is not a blanket. It's got girth to it. It's not a flat piece. Now, if you look at the blanket out in space during the STS missions, it's flat and you can see the actual, almost like a top hat kind of sticking out of that. That's for to accommodate the trunnion pin. So that's what that's for. Nick Savage, what's going on? He said, Black Knight, not thermal cover, still there. I believe that it is. Now, here's the thing. If it's been there for X amount of years, now you get mixing numbers, it's like 36,000, whatever, how many thousands of years. But if you were the military, would you approach it in a way that some people think if you approach it would be like a Trojan horse type thing? A horse where it would actually, something would come out of it, kill the human race, or is it nothing more than what we're doing to Mars, where we have, orbiters around Mars, we're taking pictures of it. Maybe this thing's been there. Maybe it's been a probe or something like that, or some kind of other satellite from another solar system, another alien species, and they just put it around our planet to observe it. How do we know? So it's pretty cool, whatever it is. Jay McGuffey said any craft that can go from orbit to the seafloor, in seconds without resistance and atmospheric effects is certainly worth reverse engineering. Oh yeah, absolutely. Unless, of course, we built it ourselves, right? But yeah, absolutely. It'd be a thing to have, too. Because if you have it in your military, oh my God, who could literally stop you with that thing? It's hard to tell what else it can do other than just these crazy maneuvers and the speed. And like you said, it goes from altitude from there to within seconds, it drops like 20, 30,000 feet. That's insane. That's crazy. Gotta love these people that drive these cars with these fart cans on them. Hey, I can add another 60 horsepower just putting this thing. It sounds like an angry, pissed off hornet. You gotta love it. James Cragen said, Chris, to be honest here tonight, who cares about the frickin' Tic-Tac incident? Whoever it belongs to. What about the thousands of truthful incidents from all over the world? Did we forget them? No, absolutely not. There's a lot to talk about as far as that. I mean, a lot of people seeing these UFOs, but like I said earlier in this Hangout, I forget which. Well, actually, they're seeing in multiple countries now. But you see these crafts. They look like crafts, and clearly, we don't know if it's CGI, because the one I saw said, oh, that looks like it's CGI because you can see where one pot is behind the tree and then next thing you know it's in front of the tree. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's like you don't even know anymore whether you can see some of these things have, really bad CGI and some things 50-50 on, so I don't know. Minikov, what's going on? You said, or Cove, depending on how you pronounce it. We as humans are not as advanced as we'd like to believe. Most of the UFOs are from beings in the solar system and galaxy. Our bodies cannot handle space. We are delusional thinking we are super advanced. Oh no, we're definitely not super advanced, but we are capable of going out in space. It doesn't matter what space you're in. You can still, we can still survive in it. The ISS is a perfect example. And, the way it's designed. Now, as far as speed-wise and transportation, again, we can go back to the Tic-Tac if that is ours. Picture having a spacecraft that can do that. You can be to Mars in, 20 minutes? Think of the speed to get to that planet, any moon. Think about that. So what if that was technology that was actually designed and made back in the 60s and 70s? There would actually be a colony on Mars by now and well on the moon a long time ago. If that's the case. Of course, it's a big if. Noodles, we may have to thank them aliens for using the oceans to rinse the atmosphere. If my study of Pacific Ocean cloud geometries, I guess it was, turned out to be forced patterns. Templar, he said, China has shoddy subs, shoddy carriers, and no doubt shoddy cutting corners, everything. It can take years of war to perfect a new weapon. Oh yeah, absolutely. But if that's theirs, that's a big if, then they're pretty darn close. It doesn't matter whose country, you know, whoever designed it, right? Nick Savage, you said Tic-Tacs are not ours. Military does not have secret craft, but not that advanced. CIA does like people say what secret craft and think alien. Right. Well, I mean, you know, it depends. You know, here's the thing. I wonder if you got the government, and then of course you got these elite kind of people, right, that can build these things, and even most of the government doesn't even know, because you can have these groups off somewhere else building something crazy in a lab, and you'd never know it. The government doesn't really have to know about it. Let's say everybody here is astrophysicist or some kind of engineer, brainiac, where we can get together and we just say, hey, you know what? Why don't we build this? Seeing you're good at this, and you're good at propulsions, and you're good at designing the outer bodies of these things, and we can do these, install this anti-gravitics equipment, blah, 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 blah. We can put it all together, and over years upon years, we get this thing to fly. Doesn't mean the government's involved. It could be just a group of people doing it, or like hire up these specialized people who maybe worked in a service, at one time, and that they can now do the things they do, but they're doing it off by themselves. Could very well be just a certain, team or a group of people doing this. Joe Nightfury, you said Vimanas. Well, definitely something that probably start off as something similar to that, that's for sure. Rodolfo Cruz, what's going on? He said, greetings from Mexico. Have a great evening. Why go so far as Mars or the moon when we don't know what is there in the bottom of the oceans or even Antarctica? Oh, we pretty much have an idea what's in Antarctica. I mean, the structure's everywhere there, right? Now, some people argue, well, the military's been there for quite a year, so maybe they built it, which is a great argument. But the military back in the 40s was building underground. And that doesn't mean everything is, because they have these observation stations that are literally on stilts, and they're in the North and South Pole and everywhere else. So that's not entirely true to build them all underground, but a lot of times they did, because one, you didn't have to worry about freezing if something shut down as far as their heating system, whatever, it's underground. You didn't have to worry about the wind that blows so horribly down there. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So as far as the bottom of the oceans, we have a peek at some of them. So we do have an idea of some of them, but I think you're right. I've stated that before, where you don't know if these UFOs are going deep under these oceans, coming back up to some kind of cavern or something that's underwater, and it's got air and everything else, got a city under it. We don't know. Have no clue. I know, Nick, you're right about that. You said even with exercise, they haven't solved bone density loss in space. I can imagine just sitting there downing like calciums and shit. Yeah, it's a great question, Great comment. Jay McGuffey said, water is a universal medium for clandestine interactions away from conventional surveillance. Think about it. You go in the deepest oceans. Who sits there and just watches the ocean? Now, there are satellites out there, because you're going to have, military, for looking out for subs and other things underwater. But rain expected in the next 24 hours. Super! But, as far as I'm concerned, if they do in fact have military looking at the oceans, then they must see other things like cruising underneath the water, right? But if you go deep under the water, come up in some kind of, like inside of the crust of the earth or something like that, like there's a giant cavern, like I said, would satellite be able to penetrate that? Would a, radar image be able to cut through that? We don't know. So there might be something deep in the oceans we have no clue about, and that I don't doubt at all. What's going on, John Jay? Good to see you in there. He said, pretty sure, hold on, just jumped on me here. Pretty sure the USA base in Antarctica in the 60s started sinking into the ice sheet. That's why they left the portable nuclear reactor in place. Well, I mean, yeah, because they started, you'll have melting and stuff like that and all that crazy stuff going on. Of course, it refreezes and everything. But yeah, I mean, again, we go back to the 60s. I showed you the power plant that they had for the Apollo missions. Okay, so it's not like we didn't have any technology back then. Now, no matter what you made back in the day, you always improved on it. So, like you can go down to a simple radio, like, walkie-talkie back in the day. Walkie-talkie back in the day was like this frickin' big, and you had these antennas that were 6 feet long, and now it's like you can literally put it in your hand. It's like a little tiny little walkie-talkie. And they can go much further. Like this particular one, even with the hills and everything else, I get just about 5 miles, shaky 5 miles out of it. That's pretty damn good. Regular walkie-talkie, you'd be lucky to get a quarter mile out of an area with hills and everything else, because they're only, well, those are 4, these are 5 watts. So, but still, technology's come a long, long way, and it's on a different band, GMRS, as opposed to regular citizens band, which is 27 megs, where, you got these here, depending on what band you're on, it's either 450 megs, or, if you want to go on the business band, it's like 151 megs. So there's different, frequencies. They go distant, they go better distance, But just the technology alone, again, if you build something, you're going to keep improving on it. Technology's come a long, long way, and it's jumping by leaps and bounds to boot. Many Coffee said, I think there is disco on alien bases deep underwater. You can just imagine you can hear him getting down. That would be pretty funny. It's like, I don't know what it is, sir. We don't see any structures, but we can hear music. That's not good. Carmine, you said China currently has the largest radio telescope, which it does, searching for ET signals. If they detect a signal, this would further shift the appearance of technological superiority to China. Well, I'm hoping that they even get the other one back, the one in Puerto Rico. I'd love to see them rebuild that. That would be good, because the more the merrier, right? But yeah, at the moment, China's got the biggest one. So I'm hoping, but would they be forthcoming? I'm hoping that they would come out and say, yes, by the way, we did find this actual information. We did find a signal from this planet. It would be cool to actually hear this one day on the news. They're saying, yeah, scientists found a signal, and they actually could hear it. Here it is. Here's the audio clip to it. That would be interesting. That would be interesting, because here's the thing. Even if you don't understand the language, just to hear it would be cool. Or, like they said, I don't know how, I'm 50-50 on that, but it's probably bogus, but I know they said they heard like a distress call from another planet at one point, where they're saying, yeah, we screwed up a planet, we need help, we're dying here, and all this other crap. And it was like a very short audio clip. It was like, 10 seconds, 14 seconds, something like that. Again, I don't know how bogus or how true that is, but still would be interesting to see that or hear that, right? Thank you again, James. I do appreciate you, brother. So, Chris, just like you and everyone else here tonight, I tend to believe what evidence I see with my own eyes, and you have shown us plenty of that, man. Oh, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that, like I said before, I don't do anything special that you guys can't do. Research. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you guys will bring up stuff that I'm like, okay, I heard of it, but I'm not sure, and then I'll do research on it too. So it's a learning curve for everybody, right? And like I said, I don't do anything special that nobody else can do here. Just really cool, and it's good to be able to research, and it's good to bring this stuff out, because I'm like dumbfounded half the time when you find some of this stuff. You're just like, what is going on here? Like the one, like I said, about Pluto. Crazy. In fact, I've got more than one of those coming up, planet type things. I'm trying to remember, I was trying to look for another photo, a couple more photos of Titan, but man, they're so limited. Just look them up. It's crazy. It's like they got one, it's like, it looks like it could be crystal clear. They just have these little narrow bands of, I'm going to say semi-clarity. When I say clarity, 10 being excellent, like, even just 1080. No, these are like 240. And that's the clearest. The rest of it's completely blurred. Why do they blur a planet or a moon or any body for, what do you blur anything for if it's nothing, there's nothing there to see? It's almost like they go, well, even if there's trees on there, we don't want you to see them. What is the point? Why? Unless there's a lot more to it. Because you know the government would say, oh, by the way, we found a moon that actually has trees on it, or a planet that has trees on it. You'd think they would actually tell you that. But if there's another species, or another alien rather, or another civilization, clearly they're not going to do that, right? At least not yet. What's going on there, Cyberpunk? Good to see you in there. Oh yeah, because it was all a gag, iRage. You said many of the moon rocks brought back with, with Apollo have been determined to be fossilized wood. Or it was other rocks that were like from here. So, and that makes sense to me because that was nothing more than a PR move. It was a bunch of garbage. Look what this hand's doing. Don't worry about what this hand's doing because this is what's really going on. We're just going to bring back these rocks for you and just, do a little lip service and you guys will be fine. It's a bunch of BS. It's, and I've said this before, it's all about, going up there as a recon mission, just like they're doing on Mars, to see what's there, get what they can in technology, and, use it for whatever. Hopefully it's for good of mankind. That would be great. But that's what it comes down to, folks. It's just like, they're not up there to collect rocks and, find building blocks of life. Now, that I could believe, but they've already found that back in 75, 76, and now they found it again with Curiosity. So, again, why are they there? Yeah. Thank you, Frax Centurion. I do appreciate you on the super chat. My shout out for a bear, Chris. Appreciate you, brother. That is awesome. You guys are awesome, man. The support on this channel is insanely awesome. Miss Here, you said Apollo missions there to photograph the civilizations there. The rocks were just to prove that they had been there and to analyze, of course. Yeah, I mean, they can bring back like a little briefcase full of rocks. Oh, look what we got. We got these little stones. And okay, that's cute and all, but how would you or I determine if that was a real rock or not? Because they do have them in museums, right? So you got them in a museum and you're looking, oh, wow, rock. How would you be able to determine that? You wouldn't. So they bring them back, and like you said, the other gentleman said, these things have been known to be like, either petrified wood, some of them were just rocks that were just random rocks. So, again, why were they on the moon? It wasn't just say, hey, we can actually do it. No, they were there for a reason. Oh, yeah. You're talking about, okay. iRage, you said finding technology is exactly why they have those random missions to asteroid. Yeah? Yep. All right, Steve Garnham, appreciate you being here. You have yourself a good weekend there, right? Be safe. Say good night from me to take care, everyone. See you the next time. You got it, Steve. Have a good one there. James. Chris, oh, stop, man. For years now, you've been showing us and disclosing the truth about the moon and Mars and more, and you do more than most of us could do in relation to that. End of story, man. Well, again, what I'm saying is that I'm not doing anything special. In other words, it's not like, ooh, I got this like encryptic software that I can do certain things and special things. Everybody can do this, right? Sometimes research is not about trying to pull things through with Photoshop. It could be just doing research about, again, propulsion systems, patented systems through anti-gravitics. That's on there. That's actually a patent. There's all kinds of crazy things that we've made or built. I believe that a lot of that stuff is ours, truthfully. But like I said, when you start seeing all of these Elizondos and all these people, I'm going, I trust them as far as I can throw them. Let's just put it that way. I'm not saying none of them are telling the truth. Don't get me wrong. But I said, like, it's one thing to say a statement about something, but they like to embellish or they like to use this fear-mongering technique type thing. And I don't like that. I just don't. I remember being on in 2012 and people asking me, oh, do you think this is going to be the end of the world? I went, what? What, are all these idiots running around like this? What is going on here? I said, no. And one person was genuinely actually scared. I don't know if they watched this very good video. It was really done well, and it dun 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 dun. Of course, I had all this music and, basically fear-mongering piece of crap. I said, no, listen. The Mayans did not say that it was the end of the world. It was the year and the time for enlightenment, for happiness, so on and so forth. It was just the total opposite. So whatever you heard, listen, nothing's going to happen to the planet, I promise you. And then after it blew over and all this other crap, oh man, I appreciate you being straight with me. Why would I lie to you? But it's all about the clickbait, you know what I mean? It's all about, oh, I'll get people drawn in so they can, and then when people go, and then of course I see it after, yeah, you're an idiot. They're yelling at the person and everything else. I said, well, why would you believe that? Do your own research. This is the reason why when I do videos, do your own research. I give you the link, you check it out, you either believe it or you don't. Or you do your own research and you say, I'm not seeing that, Chris. I see this instead. Cool. Because what I have, I don't tell people that I'm doing this and, you should believe everything I say. I'm just saying, this is what it looks like to me. This is what I found. It's anonymous. What do you guys think? And that's the way this channel's always rolled. And I've said this over and over again. Some people say, no, this is it. Man, that's all there is to it. You must believe me. No. That's a very closed-minded person to talk like that. I believe in just being honest and saying, this is what I believe it is. I could be totally off base, but this is what it looks like to me. What do you guys think? I want your input. And I genuinely do. I read every single one of these comments. Now, a lot of times you won't see me get back to you or certain people, but you'll see it like a thumbs up and a heart, meaning I liked it, of course, and I read it, so on and so forth. So I am acknowledging them. I'm actually reading every one of them. But to sit there and type it into every single one, oh my God, it's not just that. It's that. Emails, which I got to get to those still. Some people have shown me some photos of the moon and some other things. I'm going to check them out. So it's never ending, which is good because it keeps you active and keeps you looking, It's all about, learning something new every day. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, depending on how you look at it, it was a death of one cycle and going into another, right? Or Ricardo. He said 2012 was the end of the world age. We just started another that we've been in for 10 years now. Exactly. But it wasn't death to the planet. That's what I'm getting at. Where most people are like, oh my God, it's going to end. We're all going to die. No, it's not. Purified drinking water, huh? Hey, buddy. The only way we're going to die, I'm going to tell you how we're going to die. There's going to be an asteroid that they're not going to see, and it's going to just kill the planet. That's it. Now, either they're going to not tell us or not too soon, because they know it's going to be pure pandemonium, and oh, holy hell's going to break loose. And they're already going to be off in the ISS and maybe going to another planet at that time before that happens. And it's going to say, well, they're going to fend for themselves. We're out. That's how that's going to end. It's not going to be by UFOs. It's not going to be by, unless, of course, we went to war and we killed each other off, then we'd end ourselves that way. But other than that, no. It'll be from a body out in space. It's going to be something, because how many times have you heard, oh, wow, there's a near miss? When they say near miss, like 30 million miles away. But there's been times where they say, oh, it's been between the moon and Earth distance, which, again, is pretty far away, but, excuse me. But, it's still, think about it. If you were the government, you go, okay, if we tell them now, and it's a week ahead of this thing actually hitting Earth, it'd be total social breakdown. Anything that people ever wanted to do but thought it was illegal and to get arrested, they can do it now. It'd be pure pandemonium. And, basically, it would be holy hell, like I said, would break loose. So, when you think about it, if you were the government or the elite, you'd get off this planet. And hopefully, well, they'd be thinking hopefully, we'd already have a civilization on Mars by now, so we can just fly there. Nice seeing you guys, we're out. And that's basically what it come down to. I think that's how this planet's going to, two ways. Either we're going to kill ourselves off, or, well, actually three, because if the population gets so large, it'll just implode in on itself. Natural resources will be expended. Everything will just like I said, everything would just go to hell. and that'd be the end of it. Turn into a totally ravaged, civilization, unless, of course, we start using renewables and start using common sense or doing much better. We can have an endless power source, which is hard to find. But it can be done, but think about it. If there's a rock coming and you're the elites, you're not going to stay on this planet. Let's go, we're out. And that'd be the end of that. Miss Here, you said, true, Chris, the Earth-destroying asteroid, I believe. It's called Wormwood in the very last book of the Bible, Revelation. Yeah, I mean, there's more than one. There's one coming in, what? It goes, it's pretty far in the future, but the thing is, they say it may actually get close enough to actually affect the Earth. Think about this. If you're seeing these things, and you know for sure, you see the, projected path of these huge rocks. If you get one the size of Texas, it's over. It's over. It'll nail it. Let's say it hit actually Texas, in the size of Texas. It would make such a catastrophic event on this planet, enough crap to throw into the air, put you into like a nuclear winter. People would starve. And like I said, it would just be absolutely crazy. But if you're off the planet, you don't have to worry about it. But, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have something that's going to hit the land or the ocean or whatever, and it's going to be huge, and that's all it's going to take. And like I said, even if it doesn't affect you on the other side of the planet, like I said, it's going to block out the sun. Plants are going to die. Now, of course, as long as you got power, you can still have growth lights and still growing tomatoes and all that stuff. But the price of these things would be through the roof. It'd be ungodly. You'd have to, sell pretty much a pint of your blood every time you go to eat. It'd just be outrageously ridiculous. It'd be, like I said, total chaos, period. Ricardo said Jewish Torah, I think it predicts it's 2043 for the bad crap happening. Oh yeah, that I don't doubt. Now, whether that's going to come true, who knows, right? Whitebeard Sky Daddy said, if they even know, one of the size of the Great Pyramid just passed between Earth and the Moon, and nobody knew until it was over and leaving. Yeah, well, this is the reason why they want to put all the satellites out too, right? They want to have it so they can actually look out into the skies, and they want to be forewarned. But again, do you guys think they would tell us? Do you think they'd tell the public? And if so, why? Or do you think they wouldn't? I'm just curious what you guys think. Carmine, you said, I think a large solar flare will knock out the internet and power grid within a decade. Watch people go through technical withdrawal when everything shuts off. Well, it's not just that. Again, total social breakdown. Again, you got to eat. You got to fuel your car. Okay, but now you can't go back to work because there's no power. Now the military will have that, and they'll slowly have to, bring everything back to, back running up and running, right? But you'll have no power, so you can't get gas, can't watch your TV, don't have any lights, don't have this, don't have that. This is the reason why you should invest in solar. Now, if you have a nuclear winter, you're shit out of luck there too. But even with daylight, if you have a good enough size solar array, you can still bring in, electricity enough to charge a battery up. Not that you'd be doing anything with it because you wouldn't have any cell phone service or anything anyway. But you will have lights. And you can put like regular LED 12-volt lights, and you can have lights all night long. But then you got to worry about the other people scavenging through your house. He's got electricity. Let's go get him. Let's go get what he's got because I want that in my house. Then while they're there, they might just like ransack the whole house, take every bit of food you have, and you'll starve to death, and then you'll have to go kill off somebody else. And it just goes on. There's just there's no good way to look at this at all. There you go, 786 Otto. He said, when we see Elon leaving this planet, you better start to worry. Oh, yeah. Nick Savage said, they will not tell. I believe it. Because it could go either way, right? But to me, I would be like, okay, we're off this planet. I'm out. How big did you say this rock was? Oh, okay. Yeah, we're out of here. That's all there is to it. You could just jump off, and that'd be the end of that. You'd be out of there in a hurry. Daniel Smith, he said, even with our best computers, they can't be sure where it will hit. Exactly. They can get some kind of generalized, area. Let's say, okay, it may hit the United States. Well, we know how big the United States is, right? That's really a generalized area. It's huge, So if they said, well, it's going to hit right in Nevada State, that's pretty pinpoint. I mean, but either way, if it's a good-sized rock, it's going to play havoc on this planet. It's going to totally decimate it. And like I said, even if it doesn't wipe out Earth or life as we know it, it's still going to be like total just chaos. Because again, it'll probably be enough to shake the ground. Even if you got power in your area, okay, good. But what about the other countries that supply other countries with food, stuff, all kinds of other things? Well, that's come to a halt. Basically, the stock market crashes. Your dollar isn't worth 2 cents anymore. You can't go out and buy anything. And even if you do, how long would that last where they go, okay, people just go crazy saying, well, it hit on the other side of the earth, so chances are something bad's going to happen here. They start stealing from the stores. Hell, they don't even need that kind of event. They're already doing it now. How many times you heard these weirdos walking into stores like, I'm just going to take what I want and just walk out. Picture that. Like I said, I've heard people, like I said, I've said this before, when they had like these hurricanes like hit New Jersey, other states and everything else, people are beating each other's rear end in just for water. Just for the water. Never mind anything else. So think about that a minute. Picture something that's world-shaking event going to happen. What was your friend will kill you off. It's as simple as that. And I know people that go, well, I got enough ammunition to last me whatever. I said, to last you when? So you think you're the only one with ammunition? Like my ex-boss, he told me, and I've seen this. I think he's got an 18 kilowatt generator that runs on natural gas that he gets free off his own property. It's literally coming out of the ground. So of course he piped it in. He's got the regulators and everything else set right, and he can run his whole house. I said, how long do you think that'll last? Let's suppose we have an EMP, and for some reason you get lucky and it doesn't burn up the generator or nothing because you're not running it at the time, right? But everything goes out, grid goes down. You decide, fire it up, you're golden. You guys are sitting in the house just chilling. Wouldn't matter. There's nothing to watch, no TV, no satellites are going to run. Nothing's going to work. But you got lights in the house, you're cooking, you're doing all this stuff. Do you think people are not going to notice that? They're going to come after you and your family. But he does have this, this is the guy you want to get stuck with when the crap hits the fan kind of thing. But you only have so much weapons. You only have so much ammunition till their ammunition outlasts yours and you're a dead man. So, there's always going to be like top dog somewhere, and eventually they'll die off if it's not corrected, meaning, the world doesn't return back to normal. So it can be pretty nasty. I mean, this is the reason why I tell people, I like to be a little safe. I got my own little solo little thing, little project I put together. Now, if the power went out for 3 days, as long as I got daylight, I can charge up a battery, charge up my phones. I can put on 12-volt lights. I can do all kinds of stuff with it. So, so we're not dead in the water. I can do something with it, right? Not in total darkness. John Che said, just a global ash cloud would destroy us. Well, like I said, it's basically send you back into like just a winter time, basically. Block out the sun and kill off all the plants, and it's basically what they call a nuclear winter. It's like if you had war amongst yourselves, and that's basically it. It just block out the sun. Everything would go through the roof as far as price-wise, anything to do with what they grow, whether it's fruits, vegetables, or anything else. And it would just be total crazy. It's just like $500 for a can of like olives, things like that, Yeah. So people would just go into like stealing and killing people and all those kind of good things. Basically every bad part of the Bible. Yeah, John Che, I agree with you. He said hopefully it will come in on a narrow angle and chip the edge rather than flat on impact. It would make some difference. Oh, absolutely. It would make all the difference in the world. No, it doesn't. You're right. He said, food and water, Chris. Ammo means nothing in the end. Yeah, because, I mean, people say, well, what would you do, Chris? I'll tell you exactly what I'd do. I'd have stuff hidden. But what I'd do is I'd have my door open, break the windows purposely. They'll go, well, this guy clearly had his stuff broken into. There can't be nothing in that house anymore. Throw cans on the ground, just make it look like it's been ransacked already. In the meantime, you're living in there, and you're literally safe, and you got all the food you need. So you make it look like you've already been invaded, so to speak, meaning they've already trashed your house, they've already taken everything they could out of that house. It's, you got to try to make it look good. Hidden in plain sight. If you starve, yeah, you starve. Because at some point you'll run out of food, right? What do you do? So now as a parent, if you're thinking about your kids, my kids are going to survive, man. They got to survive. Now what's your next door neighbor you considered a friend? You got food in your house, right? You want to share some of that? Nope. Okay, I'm going to have to kill you off. And it's going to come to push and shove, and that's what it's going to come down to. Ricardo, yeah. I was just looking at the time myself. I was like, oh my God. Who was it last week said we were running out of things to talk about after 2 hours, 3 hours, and 10 minutes and still going? Pretty much. Who was just saying that about? Alpha Omega, you said, couldn't we trade ammo for food and water or use ammo to kill someone with food and water? Yeah, well, that's the thing. You know, nobody's going to want to trade for something that's going to keep them alive. So, you know, if you said, man, I got all the ammo in the world, man, I can hook you up with some. Okay, but at the end of the day, I can't eat the ammo. You know, I got to be able to survive. Like, my family's got to survive. So what would I do? If I knew there was any kind of impending doom, you know, and you already got food in the house, you go, okay, I'm going to keep it secret. I'm not going to tell nobody. There you go. I know people down here. It's a good friend of mine. She has like this, it's like a fallout shelter type thing, where when you go down there, they got all of these, you know, these foods and stuff like I was talking about earlier, where, you know, it's like good for 25 years. They got water down there for X amount of time. You know, she said, anytime there's an issue like that, you know where to come. And so it's like, okay, I'm there. So, but at some point, I mean, it will go away. In other words, the world will correct itself. It'll go back to normal. But then you're on your own, and you better know how to farm. You better know how to grow stuff. If you don't, you're SOL. Yep. Look at this, said crime and chaos during these times. Exactly, Rob. Great point. He said you have to look as hungry and, as everyone else. You know, it's funny you said that because my stepfather, he used to tell me, he said, I mean, you should see him. He's wearing these dicky pants with holes in them and everything else. I said, why don't you just wear nice clothes? He said, I've got nice clothes. He showed me. Nice slacks, pants, and everything else. He's got all kinds of. He says, you know why I travel like this? So I look like I'm poor. What's the chances of somebody robbing me? I said, great point. I mean, you know, so you're basically saying the same thing. You have to look as hungry as everyone else. Like, hey, man, you got any food? They're going to go, clearly he doesn't have any food now. He wouldn't be begging me for it. So, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, you can just have a simple hurricane and look at these people trip. You know, they're like flipping out and, oh my God, give me that water. Can you imagine that, running out of water? Oh my God. That's just nuts. D. Tubin says Hollywood movies make it look simple with heroes. Reality survival will be 7 days unless you group together. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing too. I mean, let's say there's a group of you that have their own supplies, right? So you're going to have to stick together so nobody else comes and takes it, you know what I mean? So, you know, I don't think a lot of people realize that just a simple little thing, have a snowstorm. You guys have been through it. Texas has been through it. Ice storms and everything else. People go, I don't need a generator, crap. I don't need that junk. You know, especially, you know, if you live in a house that's all electric, people go, well, the power went out, so I can't cook, I can't do anything. That's why you have like a backup 2 gas burner, a heater for the house, a generator. I've got these things myself. The generator, it's only like a 2,000 watt, but it's a built-in inverter and sine wave and everything else, so I can run sensitive electronics on it. It'll run the refrigerator, my deep freezer, my TV, it'll run all that stuff. And that's on eco mode, which is lower idle. So, and it only weighs 50 pounds. I can carry the thing around all day long. And it's a good thing to have because people go, well, you know, I buy these things and I end up selling them because I don't need them. That's because you're buying something really big. Like I used to put mine out in my shed out in the back, and I'm going, what happens if you have like a foot of snow? I'm going to have to wheel this thing out? It's like a 4,000 watt generator. I'm like, well, no, it's 5,000, I'm sorry. I'm like, we're going to have to wheel this thing through the snow or just, you know, of course you can hook it up, you know, the way you want, like a box or something outside the house. But I was like, nah, I can solve that. So I bought the thing, broke it in for about an hour, then, you know, ran everything I needed to run, works great, ran it out of gas, put it all back in its original box, threw it in the closet, it's in the house. So, you know, but you got to have these things, simple backup items, just simple stuff. Like I was telling you at the top of the hour, get out and get the extra food you need because things are going to start getting tighter before it gets better. I'm not saying it's not going to get better. It's definitely going to get better. But go out and buy the extra food you guys like to eat. Keep it in the house for extra to have. Stuff that won't go bad or is, like, it's got a really good date on it as far as shelf life. That's what you want. Because if things get tighter and get more scarce, you're going to be like, man, what the hell do I buy? Of course, there'll always be something to eat, but, you know, you don't know. It's just better just to stock up a little bit. You got the extra food you need. And it's not a fear-mongering thing, I promise. I mean, if you, like I said, if anybody's been to the store lately, you can see holes in shelves and, like, what's going on here? That's because of lack of supplies, stuff out in the ocean right now, lack of drivers, nobody wants to work now, and the list goes on. Edward B. said, I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd build a hypersonic transport system, Tic-Tac device maybe, shuttle supplies in personal, covertly off planet, use the ocean as cover. Just saying, yeah, absolutely, totally valid. Because again, if you had this technology yourself, now build it in a lot bigger version, you can bring supplies to wherever you want to, you can do anything you want to do, and you can do it within minutes instead of months. So, yeah. Absolutely. All right, Jonathan Waddell, have yourself a good one there. Have a good night. I hope everyone has a good week. You too, Jonathan. I hope you do too. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to jump on off this bad whamma jamma too. So everybody be cool. Have a good weekend. Have a great night, morning, whatever part of the planet you're on right now. And I hope everybody stays safe. And yeah, great hangout as always. Great support. You guys are awesome. And I've said this before, it doesn't matter what support it is, support is great. It's just awesome. And just the fact that everybody's like, bam, pretty much the same conversation, it gets it really going, and that's what it's all about, right? If you guys haven't hit the thumbs up, please do so. Let's hit way over this 200 if we can. We got our lovely 3 thumbs down because they're just awesome. And I don't really care. Doesn't matter. Because YouTube loves this interaction. They love the thumbs down and the thumbs up. They really don't care. Because they go, well, at least they're getting interaction, and that's what we want. Because if we were to, you know, put ads on any of these, whether it's videos, these kind of live hangs and stuff like that, then they're getting interaction. That's good. That's what they want to see. So, yeah, nail that thumbs up for me. You guys are awesome. And like I said, what time is it now? We'll keep it on until I get 21 minutes past the hour. Wait until, well, 8:30 my time, Eastern time. So that'll be half, you know, hour to anybody. So everybody have a great night. Have a great weekend. You guys are awesome. Love you all. Just be safe. We'll see you soon. Peace.